This podcast is brought to you by the Podtower, hosted by the Watchtower database. Visit youtube.com/thepodtower for informative, hilarious DC animation-themed podcasts and live streams every week. And check out the Watchtower database for DCAU video essays, timelines, fan theories, and more. And please, enjoy the show.
Do you say something or do you say something?
I end up saying something on accident.
God, isn't that so annoying?
I know. I hate it.
There's times that I wish I wasn't American. There's a lot of times I wish I wasn't American, but that's one of those ones that there's some words that we just say, and it's like, why do we say something?
Yeah.
Onion?
Comfortable.
Comfortable. Onion with like a G.
I don't do that one.
Onion. That might be a Northeast thing.
I just hate my mouth sometimes because I'll say like slick. I can't stop it from clicking when I do that.
Slick.
And I'm trying to I'll record a video voiceover and I'll just be hearing the in everything, every SL. I'm like, God damn it. Like, stop.
Why don't you just like have your mouth removed or something?
I wish I could.
Me too,
but
buddy.
I just can't. Hi, listener.
Hi, listen. Welcome back. It's so nice of you to join us.
Robert Sterling's right here next to us. Just kidding.
He's in the void.
He's in the black void. The void of darkness. How's it going, Brian?
I'm doing okay. How are you? We watched a fucking badass episode.
We sure did.
And
Rob brought up a good point that we didn't put on the Yop 10 or not. I think we'll just do that when we get to top 10s this time and just do that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll forget to do that, but then we'll do it out of recording.
Yeah, that's true. Greetings, listener. Wait. We were going to do, weren't we going to do an episode in like a Watchtower database voiceover voice? Is that true?
You wanted to.
Greetings, listener, and welcome to episode 129 of Jump on the Bat-Wagon. I'm James from the Watchtower Database YouTube channel, and I'm here to show my good buddy Brian the entire DC animated universe from start to finish for the very first time in the controversial Airdate order, so that he may view these shows the way human beings experience them in the far gone, as like treading into like newscaster territory.
Yes, it is.
Far gone days of the 1900s. All right. I'm done with that. At the time of this recording,
I don't have my phone on me.
It's 3:46 p.m. Batman and Mr. Freeze SubZero is streaming on Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, and YouTube for $3.99 LOL, I've written. And available on DVD and Blu-ray and VHS.
LOL.
Your other dog. Your only dog listed today.
LOL.
Max doesn't get it. Yeah,
LOL. Oh, Max.
So sorry. He's left out. If you'd like to follow along, listener, you can head over to bit.ly/watchdcau. Links in the show notes.
Listener, do you prefer bit.ly or
Bitly? I'd like to say Bitly more often. But people won't really know what it means.
Well, it's like the coffee thing, too. Like,
there's
a coffee
period. Cough. Fee. Yeah. It's not that, though. It's buymeacoffee.com.
Oh.
It's in the description.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a podcast that I listen to that shall remain nameless.
The Ko-Fi one. The
previously called it. Have I said that before?
No, but I say it in my brain as Ko-Fi all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Kofi. You're like, it's not coffee.
No, I get it. It's like a cool little
it's not
pseudo whatever.
It's not.
Okay.
That's like a place that's like a restaurant named Country Corner, and they spell it with 2 Ks.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you,
Grandma's Country Ass Kitchen or whatever on the highway.
I would absolutely eat it. Grandma's Country
Ass Kitchen.
Or whatever along the highway.
The window's open.
Yeah.
Cool. Today we're watching Batman and Mr. Freeze SubZero. I said that already. That's a weird, I have to phrase it weirdly with naming the movie, but whatever. You didn't have much of a prediction. You just kind of were like, well, Mr. Freeze episodes have just gotten worse and worse. And so I think presumed that maybe this would be like bottom of the barrel Mr. Freeze thing or something. Do you have any thoughts on what could happen in a movie? Where has Mr. Freeze gone so far? Tell me all the things.
Places.
Give me the 4 synopses or 3 synopses right now.
He's gone to things and done things.
That's so true.
Yep.
He had a wife and a tube.
I'm guessing there's going to be some kind of Batman Mr. Freeze team up in this movie.
That's
because
why there's
of the title.
and.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to do this now.
Brian's doing this now. Will we tell what the listener?
Absolutely
what
not.
this is? I don't think so.
Should I keep my pants off or on? For doing
Off is
this?
good. Yeah.
Okay.
This was released a home video on Tuesday, March 17th, 1998.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah. We had Valentine's Day.
Oh my God. I can't wait for the rest of the collection.
This was 17 days after our last episode, Growing Pains.
See, it wasn't a leap year.
That's so true.
I feel like I sound so much more intelligent when we do these in a row because I can just remember exactly what was said the week before because it was only an hour before. It's so much
easier. Yeah. Why not? This movie was written by Boyd
Lolita
Kirkland.
Ritmanis.
Boyd Kirkland. We haven't had him for quite a while.
Yeah.
And Randy Rogel, also not had for quite a while.
It's been a hot second or three.
Randy Rogel previously wrote Two-Face, Make 'em Laugh, and Robin's Reckoning, as well as the teleplays for The Mechanic, Paging the Crime Doctor, and Tiger Twiger.
Didn't he also do something with early animated series?
That's what all of those are.
Ah, yeah, right.
And directed by Boyd Kirkland, who previously directed several episodes of btas, notably Pretty Poison, The Forgotten, Perchance to Dream, Beware the Grey Ghost, I Am the Night, His Silicon Soul, House and Garden, Sideshow, Make 'em Laugh, and The Lion and the Unicorn, which was our finale to btas. Music is by Michael McQuistion, and animation is by Coco Dong Yang.
That's gonna be nothing compared to last time.
Well, actually, it's okay.
Spoilers.
Oh no. Buy us a coffee, like we talked about. Head over to the link in the description. Send us a Yoppie beverage to support the show. We'll give you a shout out in an upcoming episode.
Oh no!
What?
Did somebody do we have to do more push-ups today?
I mean, there's been more since Justin.
Oh no!
We'll also do a push-up for every $1. Send us coffee for all heralds in your entertainment.
We've already done 100 push-ups
sure have,
today.
and we got to do more. Today's Yoppie Bevs come to us from Michael, Tipped Apricot.
Why?
I finally arrived to give some overdue Yoppie Bevs. Been listening to you guys for a long while. Thanks for being extremely funny and silly. Oh, maybe this is a different Michael. It's a different Michael with an orange fruit-looking avatar.
What?
But it's not Tipped Apricot.
Okay, we're gonna need to have a battle royale.
Yeah, what the hell?
There can be only one Highlander.
Well, thanks, Michael. They bought us 3 Yoppie Bevs, so that's 15 push-ups. So here we go.
Getting out of the way real fucking quick. My arms are sore. Gosh, 1.
Oh my god, I
2,
can really do this.
3,
1,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
11,
14,
12,
15,
13, 14, 15. Oh my god.
I haven't ever done 115 push-ups in a day.
Ever in your life?
I don't think so.
I know I've done significantly more than that in a day in drum corps, but that was 12 years ago.
I don't know why I'd be doing 115 push-ups.
Yeah, I don't know. Because people bought coffee for you.
Oh, fuck. Right.
Now, one last thing I have. Actually, 2 more things. First thing, I have gifts. Ryan's favorite. First, we have some toques from the Film Realist Podcast. And we were supposed to take pictures of ourselves wearing those.
Just put it right over. I'm going to put it right over the headphones.
Yeah, okay.
Is this good? Oh, these are really comfy, actually.
Really comfy. This is great
Holy
quality.
shit.
This looks really good.
It looks really. These are not the pictures we should be sending to.
We're going to take a picture right now.
But these will not be the ones that we send to Kyle. Or maybe we'll send them to him.
We'll send them
like,
to him. Should have had the sound on for the ka-chink. We'll send you we'll give you a better picture, Kyle. But
oh man, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, good stuff. I was on Instagram and got advertised some stickers. And I put one of my stickers on my water bottle. It's this duck in a director's chair. But I got you one that says, "Sorry, I only work for exposure." So I don't know where you want to put that, but I thought it was pretty good.
Oh my god!
Exposure or nothing. I'm out of here. I figured you could maybe keep the camera lens when they threw it if you wanted to. Yeah.
Oh my god. That is the funniest sticker I've ever seen in my entire life, and I don't know what to do with this. It needs to be in such a place of pride.
Is it a water bottle? I don't know. Yeah.
Oh my God! Like nothing's gonna last long enough for me to. Like, I'd want to like frame
it on your toque.
Holy shit! Thank
you. And
then
my
Jamie.
final gift I've just been meaning to give to you forever. It's Batman as Killer Croc action figure. Case and Pilliard, inanimate objects. Go buy some action figures. Custom figures.
Oh my God! Thank you, Jamie. I do remember this one.
He's supposed to be holding the head, but it keeps falling out of his hand. But yeah.
That is fucking. It actually fits over him.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to push it too hard, but like relatively convincingly
like,
so.
Yep, that's me, Killer Croc. Don't look at Batman's neck underneath my neck.
I'm gonna have to like put a rock next to him. Like go get a rock from outside somewhere.
Like a rock. Oh, like a rock. It's a big truck. Oh no, he dropped the head already.
Oh God.
Well, Brian, I think that action figure is a good segue into the final thing I have to tell you before we go watch this movie.
That sounds like there's more going on.
A little bit, yeah. So this movie, I said it was released March 17th, 1998. It was originally meant to be released summer of 1997. Batman and Robin live action movie came out. Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah.
And it is debatable because there are different stories from different producers of the reason for this. Some say it's because Batman and Robin did so poorly, and others say it's because of other like production things that we'll get into in trivs. Jesus,
okay.
I'm so out of breath still. So the movie was delayed a year to 1998. And because of that, this is not a new Batman Adventures movie.
What?
This is a Batman the Animated Series movie.
What?
So this movie actually happens before the new Batman Adventures Mr. Freeze episode that we've already watched.
What?
The controversial Airdate
order. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna need some. So we're gonna go into more about that.
We'll get into it more. Yeah.
Because to me, right now, that's just like the weirdest. Like, oh well, the movie, which is only roughly by name associated.
Yeah.
Didn't do well, so we're gonna like put this shit off. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, we'll talk more about it. There's a handful of different stories to go with it from different people, but yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you ready for
Let's go watch some fucking BTAS.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Press the BTAS button. That's the BTAS button.
Wait, hang on. Isn't it this one? Yes. All right.
There aren't any available organs.
What about these?
Not compatible. Nora's blood type is extremely rare. There aren't any deceased donors that match.
Then we'll have to use a live donor.
What? Are you crazy? They die.
I know.
Man, you're a piece of work. I said I'd help, but this is gonna cost you more than a little gold nugget. I mean, the risks involved.
This is just a small sample from a large vein I discovered in the Arctic. You do this, and it's yours. All of it.
These hospital files list every blood donor in Gotham. We want someone who's approximately the same weight, height, and female. Here's one. Perfect. Her name is Barbara Gordon.
You can see his face.
Bruce Wayne.
Often. Yeah, Bruce Wayne. He didn't have whites of his eyes in this movie for some reason.
You know what? You know what? You know what?
It didn't bother you because it just wasn't New Batman Adventures Bruce Wayne, so you were just happy.
No, honestly, it was like strangely off-putting.
Oh, pudding.
Pudding.
That's what Harley Quinn, she wasn't in this movie. What are we in a Ryan Hip voice message? Cars. Now, last time we watched a full ass movie, mask off the phantasm, you like took notes during it because you were so worried about remembering the plot. You didn't do that at all this time. I think you'll be perfectly fine remembering the plot. Yeah. Well, you better, because it's time for the.
If you're wondering,
where's time 2?
Synyop,
2 Synyop?
what you just watched.
Yeah.
Synyop. Take a listen to the synopsis, the short summary, which is sometimes kind of long.
Freeze! I'll tell you the really quick, the little tidbit about that line. The very keen shot of him reaching past the camera going, freeze, as Mr. Freeze falls.
Yeah.
And then you, of course, as predictably said, like, I'm falling. I can't really control what I'm doing. The first time that I ripped this movie off of a DVD to use in videos, I did not realize it, but I'd accidentally ripped it with the Dutch audio track. And so I'm like scrubbing through the movie just to get a visual of what I need. And it was that shot of Batman reaching. Yeah. And I hit play on the clip and he goes, freeze! And I'm like, oh my God. So I expect him to roll the R every time now just because it was so funny. Sorry, listener ears, but
that's beautiful. I kind of wish we got that version, actually.
Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, what happens in this movie, Brian?
All right, so I'm gonna try to do the like major plot points and kind of like major plot points. Okay, Mr. Freeze is living in the Arctic, presumably, with 2 polar bears and a Kodak digital camera. I guess disposable. We'll say disposable.
He was pretty disposable. They
Kodak
did save him.
Disposable camera, otherwise known as like a small boy named Kodak disposable camera.
Disposable camera. Yeah.
Interesting.
Strange name for a boy.
It's a strange name for a boy, even if he's not, American. Even though he's got an, American accent.
His parents, they're just very progressive.
Very progressive.
Yes. They're also dead.
That's how progressive they are. They're like, we're tired of making an ecological impact. His
name was some kind of like legitimate to his, nationality name. And then Mr. Freeze like adopted him. No, you shall now be named Kodak Digital Camera. Disposable camera. Sorry, this is 1998. Anyway, yes, he's in the arc. Where did we last leave Mr. Freeze in BTAS?
Oh God, floating in an iceberg?
Yeah. So this is the somewhat natural progression of where he was going.
Naturally, he floated in the iceberg to the Arctic.
Yes.
Which is famous.
Some polar bears.
Which is famous for thawing icebergs.
Yes, of course.
Right? So like he's there and he's just like, well now I'm in the nice warm Arctic. I'm gonna get myself out of this iceberg.
He floated for like a year and then the polar bears just started like on the ice and oh hello, I'm in here with my wife, and they're like, do you want to like come out of there? And, oh, I suppose that might be a little more a little good. And then they okay, and crack the ice up, and that must have happened off screen, I guess. Obviously.
Yeah, I kind of wish we got that can opener scenario, but anyway.
Turn out the iceberg had a little lid on the outside that lets Mr. Freeze out.
So, oh man, I'm remembering all these details now. I'm going to get a little more detail oriented than I wanted to.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
So he's living in the Arctic with a Kodak disposable camera and 2 polar bears, and his wife in a glass capsule.
Listen to this. Anyway,
sweet ass ASMR.
ASMR.
Sweet ass MR.
His wife's in a tube.
Yeah, so his wife's in a glass tube. And then these bozos in a submarine are like, let's breach here.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah,
for some reason.
We detect like 4.5 life forms. They're like, yeah, just go up here.
They're not a Starfleet vessel. How do can they detect people?
Something.
They're like, there's a cave. I've always wondered what the fuck they're doing. Like they're like, we're a submarine and we're here. And there's a cave. We better blast through the floor and check out a cave.
Yeah.
We've never seen one of those before.
No.
And then they leave the cave, walk around outside long enough for Mr. Freeze to freeze the rest of the crew. And then they come back and go, what? What's going on?
Well, here, you're getting ahead of me.
I'm so sorry.
So
I have
Mr. Freeze and these people in a cave, the submarine breaches, breaks his wife in half.
The case.
I mean...
Clearly not.
Yeah.
She was wearing a blanket the whole time. Maybe she is just half a person.
Yeah, we can't tell. Batman like picks her up at the end,
Oh,
like one
Jesus.
piece over his shoulder and one piece in front.
Goes, dude, I don't think we can
Or he
save her.
like, he like puts his arms under her waist and goes to pick up, and it just kind of
They
like
just flop both directions.
Yeah.
Oh.
puts the blanket back slowly.
Yeah. You didn't mention how bad this was.
Mr. Freeze, are you sick?
What? We can fix her, I promise. She just needs blood. And a lot of it.
Okay, so
I don't have any like cup or whatever to speak into, but that's okay.
it's fine.
Yeah, people get it.
They get it.
There's got to be some kind of like
Cup filter.
I'm Mr. Freeze. No, that's
Am
not
I?
really that great.
I'm not Mr. Freeze.
No,
Why
you're
can't
not.
I be Mr. Freeze?
I can do you, I think.
Oh, you
I
can do me?
you?
Can I be
Does this
Mr.
work?
Freeze?
No, it's just me.
Why?
I don't know. It
Why?
only affects me.
Why?
I don't know. Continue the synopsis. and see how-
Okay. So, breaks his wife in half, and then he's like, I'm going to turn all of you into icebergs, which also, so he froze these people. It's the Arctic. Presumably, they're still there.
Just dead
in
or
an
frozen.
unknown
Yeah.
cave.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The whatever military will go like, where's our submarine? And go, oh, Jesus Christ.
We should check this cave. And they breach and they break the
Through it,
submarine in
yeah.
half.
Which cracks all those people in half, just like Nora Freeze.
Nora Freeze gets broken into quarters now.
She's still in there. She was back on an expedition after being revived or something.
8 years later, there's just shrapnel from at least 40 submarines broken into like
You better
so
go
many
check
pieces.
out that submarine. Yeah.
Where did our 18 other submarines go? All right.
We've lost all of our submarines.
I'm going to do this, Jamie. I'm going to do
Yes.
this. I'm going to do this. So Mr. Freeze is like, well, I need my wife to be not dead. Help, please. And there's doctor guy's like, oh, I guess I can help, please. Mm-hmm. And
I need money.
yeah, you need
I'll
money.
murder.
I need it. And he's like, here's a piece of gold, which I don't know. It's in the Arctic. It's in the ice, and you can have all of it. I don't know.
Yeah. Believe me.
Yeah,
There's more.
yes. And fucking Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon are like, hey, we can like, we're gonna schmooze up on each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mr. Freeze is like, oh, the doctor's like, we need we need Barbara Gordon's intestines. And so they like go to like steal Barbara Gordon, and she's like, don't hurt Dick. And he's like, I'm gonna chase you guys in this car. And then
Motorcycle.
yeah, I'm gonna steal your motorcycle. Here's my Corvette. I'm gonna jump over this toll plaza. And
And
then
that police officer just go
yeah.
right
Boy, oh
out.
boy,
that was the other thing.
That Dick can soar.
Wasn't that the third thing that Kimmy said right before
Oh
it
my
happened?
god!
Or maybe there
Kimmy was on a
four.
prediction fucking rampage.
Yeah. Well, as you get to each thing, you skipped some stuff, but
Oh,
the
yeah,
first
I'm
thing
trying to
was
skip a
the
lot.
first thing was that the guys were robbing the store, and then
Yes, yeah. And Dick and Batman
yeah.
caught.
Well, I was just
Oh.
Kimmy said
Okay, yeah.
Myron, and then the woman said Myron right after that, and then there was the. And then the guy did that, and then that's some other stuff.
There was the cocktail party where she was like, "Hey," and then
Yeah.
Dick's like, "Hey, what the fuck, Kimmy?"
Yeah, and then one more at the end that I can't remember. at
I
this
can't
moment,
either.
yeah.
So yeah, the long and short, and I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
really long this or short this long, is they take Mr. Freeze and this doctor take Barbara Gordon and the Kodak disposable
To be their
camera,
lawfully wedded wives.
yeah, to an oil platform to like perform the remove your inside surgery. And then Batman and Robin get there to save her just in time. And then the fucking doctor's shooting up all the oil tanks from Oil Co. USA.
Oil Co. Get your oil right here.
Oil Co. Where the oil goes.
It's on fire. It's gone.
Kodak disposable camera's like, don't hurt this girl that I liked. It's chained up and I can't let her out because, I don't know, morals or something. Mm-hmm. And everything gets on fire and everyone's trying to escape. And Mr. Freeze falls down a hole into the, I don't know, water-ish.
Yeah.
And he's dying because he doesn't have his whole suit thing to like keep him like all cryoed up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the polar bears are going to take him to shore in a not cryo location. So
Yeah,
I don't know. He just survives, I guess.
They swam all the way to the Arctic.
Yeah. But they were going in the direction that they were like going back towards land.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. So Mr. Freeze is alive. Nora becomes revived. Mr. Freeze is like creeping up on some hut, really opportunely timed. And he sees in a news report that Nora's alive, and he's like, fuck yeah. And then he walks with his ice cast out into the snow like Ernie Shackleton or whatever.
To turn into a spider head.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I forgot about that.
That was my, we did a video last year about all the villain redesigns, and I made some gag about like what an interesting night that must have been for the polar bears. Like when he just like loses the rest of his body somehow. Like,
but
did
also,
they eat the body?
How does he lose the rest of his body if we start off the episode and he's like in a Speedo in the Arctic? Like everything's fine.
He's fine in this, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember why he ended up spider.
I think they just throwaway lined that whatever disease Mr. Freezed him deteriorated him enough, except for his head.
So he became Mr. Head. Right?
Mr. Head.
Yeah. Okay. So that's my Sinyop-ish.
Yes.
You should, I guess, hopefully you should have watched it.
I think so. I did. I was there with you in the room.
You were?
Yeah.
I meant by the listener, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
I've seen it.
I'm glad you were there, Jamie.
Thank you. This is the official synopsis from the back of the VHS case.
Woo.
Batman faces his coolest case ever when Mr. Freeze returns to Gotham City.
You can stop right fucking
there. While unraveling the mystery of Batgirl's disappearance, Batman and Robin discover that she is part of Mr. Freeze's frigid plan to save his dying wife.
Stop again.
No matter what the cost. With time running out, Batman and Robin...
The cost is a gold nugget.
...must find Gotham's most cold-blooded villain and prevent him from putting Batgirl on ice forever.
Is he the most cold-blooded, or is Killer Croc?
Oh, that's a good point, because it's like a crocodile.
That's a pretty good point, Brian. Really smarty pants over there with your crocodile knowledge.
I know you're like crocodile guy, and you know all about all the crocodiles.
Bill Nye, the crocodile guy.
Brian, that crocodile guy. What's your overall take on this movie?
Hated it.
You hated it. Oh no. This is an apocalypse now.
I didn't like
Brian hated at the end.
So I didn't really like God, it wasn't the worst thing ever. The storyline wasn't you know what? The storyline was okay.
Yeah.
At moments. It really dragged at other times. The art was, and this is a really good callback to the previous episode. The art was distractingly bad enough to bring down the quality of the episode.
Watchability.
Yeah. It was just like, oh, fucking cool. So I know you said we're going to have a new segment, but I have to say right now, fucking hell, man. Like we start off with really badly animated polar bears in the fucking CGI underwater ice cave,
a bunch of
something
3D
or other.
fish. Yeah.
Oh my God. And it was just like, I found myself like not listening to the story by just like,
it does distract you from anything else that's going on. I think this is like a product of, again, not ready for this, but they're trying it out kind of a thing. But also that like, movie came out at a time where like, oh, it's going directly to home video on tape. And like, while you could still see the difference, I'm sure you're seeing it in such a non-Blu-ray version of this movie. And we watch like the crispest SubZero ever. And it's like, oh, this is so, I can see everything. I can see 3D Alfred's taking really awkward steps and all this stuff. Yeah.
3D Alfred in the Bat Cave walking after the Bat-Wing or whatever that was one of the most upsetting moments of the
I'm just gonna not necessarily cut ahead, but I'll just say the segment that I want to do is sort of a subsection of Keen Effects that I'm calling CGI or CG nay. And because this is our first, besides the Mask of the Phantasm opening credits city, this is our first like actual CGI like stuff.
So that Mask of the Phantasm CGI, like I remember it being like, what are we into? But it was weird, like the intro segment and that was it.
Yeah.
This was like
integrated into the movie so much. Yeah.
Oh my God. And they didn't have the like fucking TMS or Studio Ghibli ability to make 3 dimensions look good. So it was just these like Post-it note 2D on top of late 90s, but early CGI, 3-dimensional.
I do wonder how it's composited or whatever, because there's several
It's Roger
shots.
Rabbit. They're animating directly on the
It kind of seems like what it is.
It's animating directly on the computer monitors. So you have to like do it.
And then they take a picture of the computer monitor. Yeah. But I mean, like there's like a shot specifically of, two that I can think of. One where there's a 3D police car coming at camera, and the driver, the policeman driving it,
is 2D
just
inside. Oh my God.
Shaking around. He's like vibrating everywhere because they're doing it frame by frame. Like there's no way to like lock him into the car.
Yep.
And then the same exact thing happens later with Batman and Robin in the Batwing, where there's a cool like sweeping camera shot where the Batwing's like landing and stuff, and they're just going inside of it because
just make it so that like us, the viewer, the camera that we're watching through doesn't have a polarizer on it, and the glass is just completely glared up, and we can't see the people inside. Give me that. Yeah. Don't give me 2D, no windshield, jittery cop.
Trying to draw the perspective to match the 3D perspective as it's happening. And,
I respect it.
Yeah.
And then like, I also like having been alive at that point in time, it was the like, oh yeah, you hear like that like one shot in the Lion King or whatever, CGI.
The wildebeest or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like people were like actively trying it out, and we're about 5 years away or so of like too much CGI, and then people going, oh wait, this is really bad, and then they finally fucking gave it up.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I think it works really well for buildings. The Batwing, when you can't see Batman and Robin hovering around inside of it, a couple other things like that, where it's like there's a cool POV shot of the inside of the Batwing swooping through like a hangar thing and then shooting out the side of the thing. I think it looks cool, but it is also a little gratuitous, like action figure-y, because he has a big bat signal door at the end of the runway. That's like, why would you have that?
You know what? I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
The CGI in this is on par with like late 90s toy commercials. CGI.
Yeah.
It is like really rather inconsequential. Like the movement, sure.
Yeah.
But like also to like tip of the hat to the artists in this episode or this movie. Sorry. There is a lot like the storyboarding, especially like the art. Oh God, every other scene. Really good, really bad. Really good, really bad. Really bad with CGI. Really bad, really good.
Yeah.
And the thing that I kept kind of latching on to was that the storyboarding was excellent. Like the framing of all the shots was excellent.
Yeah.
Just they just
You were
didn't
saying
always
like,
have
it's
good
really
art.
cinematic and
You know, you'd get a lot of
it feels
like,
more like a movie visually, but I think it's telling that what you're saying, where you keep accidentally calling it an episode, is like the plot is like an episode's plot stretched to a movie length, and it barely hits movie length too. I think it's like 70 something minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And it just like, there's a point in the movie you said it started dragging. I was feeling it for like, I haven't seen this in a while.
Yeah.
And there's like, I'm realizing like, oh, a lot of this movie is like Batgirl tries to escape the oil derrick and doesn't.
And she tries to escape again.
And then cut to Batman and Robin
doesn't.
investigating, and then cut back to she's trying to escape and then doesn't, and cut back to Batman and Robin investigating. And it's that for a good half an hour or more. And then at the end, there's like 3 different shots of Batman and Robin running around a corner to do something. And then they get stopped from doing that thing. And then they run around a different corner to do something, get stopped from doing that thing. And it's like, I have very fond memories of this movie from childhood where I have almost on par. I've probably talked about this before, where like it's been a long time, so I might not be able to now, but like I had watched Aladdin enough times as a kid where I could like look away from the TV and say the entire movie to you, including like music cues, every single line, just everything, every sound effect, whatever. And this movie was approaching that, where I was like, while we were watching it was taking everything within me not to just boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, 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 boom.
I mean, you did a couple times.
I did a couple. Yeah, that guy steps in through the window and the trombone goes, I just did it because I'm like, yeah. But there's just stuff like that where I'm like, I saw this so much as a kid that it sticks with me, and I'm trying to put that out of my head for our review here for the podcast.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff in this movie that I'm like, the fucking shot of the Batwing rising up behind Belson, that's the coolest thing in the fucking world to me. I don't know why, but just like it rises up with the very slow, dramatic version of the Batman theme, and then there's the shot underneath him of him looking up as it's floating above him.
The Grundle shot?
The Grundle shot that is also horribly composited with the 3D Batwing. But it's just such a cool sequence that I'm still like, childhood goosebumps. Yeah.
Like the storyboarding of it is amazing. I wish the execution was better. Like give the storyboards to TMS. Fuck. No.
The whole thing, maybe.
Give them to like anybody but like ACOM.
Well, yeah, I mean, Coco Dong Yang doing this. There were times where it almost looked to me like they gave it to somebody better or something, because there were, like, especially the last chunk of the movie where they're on the flaming oil thing.
Oh my God.
Like,
yeah. And like the flames shooting in the background. Like there's some really good stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been CGI behind Belson.
A little bit sometimes.
Like there's that one where he's like, we have to go, we get out of here. And he was like, no, not without Mr. Freeze is like, not without Nora or something like that.
Yeah. That whole little
And it was just like, that was such a like epic shot of like Belson kind of from the side in profile, and these flames just like, you can't really tell the depth. And so again, like very
how
claustrophobic.
Close are they to the fire? Yeah.
It's pretty freaking wild. I just wish, I don't know, it just didn't land for me, which is rather sad, because from the beginning I'm like, okay, Mr. Freeze, he's in the Arctic, he's walking around and he's like healthy there. This is great. He's like got his little family, whatever. And then, we got the plot of like Nora getting broken in half and Mr. Freeze trying to
Mr. Freeze wants to break her in half, but he just can't because she's dead.
But like the like following the plot, and Barbara and Dick, like they go off in their like romantic whatever date thing, and then Mr. Freeze capturing Barbara, and it was like cool, where's this gonna go? And then like
a bunch of the same stuff over and over
and then it was like well, okay.
Yeah.
The police chase, like, sure, that's cool. Yeah. It's unfortunate amount of CGI, but all the same.
If we're sticking with that for a second, you reminded me with the car chase is like some shots in that felt like, okay, even though it doesn't look great, it's cool that you chose, this is a good theoretical instance to use that, because most of it is like inanimate objects that are moving around, and like you could do some cool stuff with that. And there was one or two shots that didn't look that bad, but then there was one particular shot or two that actually one was Dick Grayson is driving the motorcycle in a side profile, and all the police are passing him left and right. And my first thought was like, go faster. But then I was like, oh, cool. I guess this one they're just doing by hand. And then it cuts to like a 2 or 3 second shot. Like it was really quick of just right behind his motorcycle as two of the police cars like merge lanes in front of him. And I was like, first of all, unnecessary shot entirely. Second, I don't think you needed that to be 3D. And then the second one was when he lands from his jump over the bridge, and he's a CG Dick Grayson, and he goes like, wow, and like bounces on the motorcycle as he goes up the ramp off the thing. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like just, I mean, it's again, it's a like, try a thing that looked bad, that we won't do that again kind of a thing, because it feels like a just like, oh, give it a shot, but no, it didn't really work very well.
I just like, it's one of those moments where like they realistically, like it's a very small part of the movie, not episode,
but it does hit you as big deal, because we've gone from 0 to 50% of the movie being like these weird CGI shots.
But nothing was as bad as the intro. I think that was the worst of it.
The very first thing we see is the title card, where a big 3D bat signal's floating through a cave, and then it comes into view, and like Mr. Freeze rays go across it and say SubZero, and then it explodes into shards of and you were like, whoa, because that was the first instance of like, oh, look, here's what you're in for with the CG. And then you were just like, wait, is the whole movie CGI? And I was like, no. You're like, oh my God. But then the first thing we see after that is polar bears awkwardly vibrating through the water while 3D fish float around them.
By the way, the exact frame, like the exact animation of polar bears, one slightly scaled down.
Yeah, just the same thing. Yeah.
Also, in the like effects from the fucking CGI submarine, which just looked like editing out pixelation, like visual pixelation nope, this is like someone's naked here. We got to blur it out. Like
you said, like, oh, love to see that JPEG rasterization on or whatever.
That was on the polar bear swimming.
Was, yeah.
When I guess it must have been an effect of the scaling and exporting or something.
It makes me wonder how they like when they went back to remaster this for the Blu-ray, like. Were they able to access the original
I bet
files?
It was baked in.
Well, I think so, but it just makes me wonder, like, how they did they upscale it? How did they clean it up? Because they're going off of
480.
Like an exported CG file that's probably like an MPEG that's like 480p. That they're like, what do we do with this? We can't make this any better than it is. So I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a really good point.
Maybe it's like layered on top somehow. I don't know. Dan. He didn't have anything to do with this movie, so
it's obvious.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be fair though. I do, like I said, the ending with all the fiery stuff all looks really good, especially like. Yeah. Batman being like, if I'm not back in time, go without me. And he like looks over his shoulder. It's very coolly lit and dramatic. And he jumps off into the fire and all that stuff. And all the things with them rescuing people and leaving are very cool. Cool, Mr. Freed.
Oh my God.
But then throughout the rest of the movie, there are a handful of shots that I think are really well done. The Barbara in her like room being chained up or whatever, just talking to Kunak was like surprisingly well animated.
To
sorry, Kodak, the disposable camera.
Oh, right. Yes, of course, him.
Kunak? I don't think that's a character in this movie. And then like just I don't know, some of the earlier stuff in the movie before it gets like really into the plot. Is just well done. Batman and Robin fighting those guys in the street just to kind of set up like, oh, remember Batman and Robin exist. Like, you got to introduce them again.
Which was fine. That was like a pretty harmless introduction to their characters in this episode.
Yeah. Episode? That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah. I'll say about the CGI, I'll just mention the triv that I have for it. According to Boyd Kirkland's the director, the CGI division employed for this film, Warner Digital, was set up out of a desire to incorporate CGI in the original run of Batman the Animated Series. So we had talked about that with the Mask of the Phantasm trivs of they made the buildings and they're like, oh, we could totally use this for the show. And then they just never did.
Thank God.
Though ultimately they weren't able to utilize until Mask of the Phantasm. In his mind, the implementation of CG in the film helped elevate SubZero visually beyond the normal TV stuff.
Well, okay, wait. I need to be fair and cut in here and say that that's like 1997
mentality about that kind of thing.
That is 1997 mentality, and that was
we got to use the computers.
That was hot shit back then. So okay.
So by allowing the crew to inject more excitement and a live action feeling,
like Dr. Belson.
Yes. What the thing? By moving the camera more during action sequences, as well as keeping vehicles such as the Batwing more consistent and solid looking. Like I said, I think that's the best part about it is the Batwing and like the Wayne Manor and buildings and things like that is like, oh, you could like shoot the camera down a thing and not have to have someone draw the Batwing from an awkward perspective over and over again or whatever. Yeah. Like I think I'm comparing it in my mind to I think it was Blind as a Bat. Batman has that helmet on to help him see, and he's flying through Gotham like blind because the Penguin fucked up his shit, and he's just in the Batwing like soaring around buildings. And it's just so poorly drawn because some guy is having to draw the Batwing rotating and keep the scale perfect, and all these buildings are flying by, and it just looks terrible. But if it was this, it'd be like, oh shit, what the hell? This is cool as fuck, like or whatever. Yeah. So I don't know.
I think the thing for me, and personal biases being things you can't necessarily get away from. The thing that bugs me the most is the mixing of the media.
Yeah.
Because like when it's done well, looking at you, Gumball.
Uh-huh.
Like, I love mixed media. It's so cool when people can pull it off.
And it's obvious that it's an intentional artistic like thing to like, it's two different things. This movie is trying to trick you into thinking it's all just the same thing, but it's really obvious.
yeah. And it didn't land for me. Maybe it would have in 1997.
Yeah. Too bad it came out a year later and then everyone was on to them. Yeah. I mean, how did that, what was your takeaway on like, oh shit, it's btas again and that kind of thing? Because that was, when we were leaving the room earlier and you're like, oh my God, what is Batman the Animated Series? Holy shit. But like, was that cool to you or was that jarring and weird? Like, because now we're in the other one or what?
It was more jarring than I expected. And I think because like what we said kind of earlier on with the changeover of like animation redesigns, all that stuff, it's so much more consistent now. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not used to like, oh, this one goes back and forth. Oh, the quality's kind of like this on this one. Oh, it's a bad one. It looks like this. Oh, we're back to a kind of good one that looks like this. And so where we've had like the same thing. And, here we were like bitching about like how the Joker looks. It's been the same thing with the only exception I can immediately think of is last episode.
Where it was better.
Where it was much better. But, this was just like, oh man, there's like, Dick is like 350 pounds.
It was, well, this is what I was saying off camera, off microphone, was like that, because you kept having problems with Bruce Wayne's New Batman Adventures design. And I mentioned like, at the very least, I enjoy that like producer talk about, oh, we wanted to like make him look less chunky because they hated the Bruce Wayne brown suit that he had, that it was very wide and very puffy and whatever.
Yeah.
And like, in New Batman Adventures, Bruce Wayne's black suit, red tie is like much sleeker and much more like form fitting and like, oh, he looks taller, thinner, whatever. And then, then we're immediately like, here we are at the party where we're like wearing fat suits. What's going on? Like, it just looks really strange.
Yeah. And it was like, Dick is like generally, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Like,
even, when he's in the hospital with his shirt off still, he's like a little bit chunkier than you expect him to look.
a little bit chunkier. And I guess like, the like hypersexualization of like female characters, like that's not necessarily a good thing. And like, maybe this is more, well, I feel like when he's in his Robin outfit, he's trim again.
Yeah.
And so it's just like,
I think it was just the art style / the switching between studios or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I mean, I think for me, it was just like, oh, it'll be fun for Brian to see the btas versions of these guys again. But this is the first time you have had to rewind your brain. Like you have to you don't just get to chronologically essentially watch these like we have
first
been.
Time.
I think so.
Is this going to happen again?
Oh, I don't know.
Yes,
I have no idea, man. But just like where you, this is one of the like handful of things where when we started the podcast and I decided to do it in the Airdate order where I was like, it's controversial. And you're like, why? And I'm like, well, there'll be these handful of things where we'll just be like, what the fuck or whatever.
I get it now.
Yeah. And like, this is one of those instances where I'm like, yep, I'm making you watch this like I had to, where you see a Mr. Freeze episode where Nora Freeze has been cured and she's fine. She married her doctor and they're living together and Mr. Freeze is a spider now. And what the hell happened? They didn't explain anything. Oh, it's because there's an entire movie about that. And we just now get to see it after several more episodes.
Right. Like, and I still think it's strange.
Yeah.
Like why didn't he step up?
Who, what?
Mr. Freeze. Like, why didn't he be like, okay, well, Nora, this, that, like, admit that he was wrong with the hospitals. Like, he didn't try to.
I guess he has to hide because he did crimes. I don't know.
But like, Batman was like actively going back to save him.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been one of those, like, he dropped. I don't know. He got. He
really good at that.
Thank you. Like he probably would have ended up in Arkham, but like, Nora, look, I kept you alive for this long. I'm glad they're able to save you. Baby, I'll be there for you when I get out of jail.
Yeah.
Like, why not that?
I don't know. For whatever reason, I think he just like really wants Nora to be fixed, but he doesn't think that she like deserves to be with him anymore because he's a frozen monster now or something. I don't know. We talked about this a little bit with Cold Comfort. But do you? It's fine if you don't, because I don't. But do you feel any better about Cold Comfort now, knowing the missing puzzle pieces of this movie that got us there?
Yeah.
I still don't like that episode at all, but
it's nice to have that puzzle piece.
Yeah.
And it would have been cooler to have it
cooler, you say?
It would have been cooler to have it in like
The right
sequence.
order. Yeah.
I still don't get why they held this for a year.
Let's get to the cast, and then we can get to the trips.
Okay.
Kevin
Ken
Conroy as Batman.
/ Brute. Wait.
Nope, just Batman.
But he was Bruce
He
Wayne.
was Bruce Wayne a lot.
What the hell?
That reminds me of how Scooby-Doo, a lot of Bruce Wayne
is missing one of the characters.
Yeah, he's missing. Something's missing. How Bruce and Dick's interactions in this movie were like written like a Scooby-Doo episode, where like they're in the hospital, or no, they're in Gothcorp, I think, walking down the hallway, and Bruce is like, Gregory Belson, his name was in that car that Alfred and I found in the place. It was in a puddle of water. And Robin goes, melted ice. And he goes, right. Like points at him and like, oh, and it was Mr. So-and-so in the mask. Like it just seems like there was one other instance I can't think of now where he does the same kind of thing of just like, oh, it was Nora Freeze? Mr. Freeze's wife. I'm like, yes, we know. I mean,
and they
know.
Look at the camera slowly and then like a slight smile. Did you get that?
Yeah. Were you paying attention earlier? Because like they know that, the audience knows that. I don't know. It's whatever. It's made for children. Michael Ansara as Mr. Freeze. Lauren Lester as Robin. What?
Oh, I was going to say /
no, / Victor Fries.
Victor Fries.
Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred.
/ Victor.
/ Victor Fries. George Zunza as Dr. Gregory Belson. He's previously Chubb in Paging the Crime Doctor. G. Carl Francis in The Laughing Fish. And then he's been the ventriloquist in Scarface and Perry White in Superman the Animated Series.
Sounds about right.
Robert, oh God, it's been so long. Robert Costanzo as Detective Bullock. Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon. We have Mary Kay Bergman as Barbara Gordon.
Mary Kate and Ashley.
Batgirl / Barbara Gordon was previously voiced by Melissa Gilbert in BTAS, and currently, for us anyway, voiced by Tara Cherendoff, aka Tara Strong, in New Batman Adventures. Mary Kay Bergman had a bunch of like side characters, like one-off side characters in 90s Disney movies.
Okay.
She was one of the Bimbettes in Beauty and the Beast.
What?
It was one of the three blondes that are like, oh, Gaston, he's so fucking handsome. I love him.
The Bimbettes?
That's apparently what they're called.
Officially?
Yep.
Disney, come on.
She was a wood nymph in Hercules, which I only included because this was a scene when you first meet Phil and then, Robert Costanza. She was one of the ancestors in Mulan, one of Ariel's sisters in The Little Mermaid. She was Gwen Stacy in one episode of the Spider-Man 90s animated series. She was JJ in JJ the Jet Plane, which is kind of weird.
Don't know what that is, but sweet.
It's like a Thomas the Tank Engine looking airplane show,
Oh.
which I think is also all CGI, and it's all created by like live recording hand animation with the mouse. So like it's like a stationary airplane that some guy with the mouse is like hits record and then moves the mouse around and it records the mouse movement. It's awful. We should watch a clip sometime.
Oh, hell yeah.
Anyway, she was the original voice of Timmy Turner in the Fairly Odd Parents shorts before the TV show, which then Tara Strong became the voice of Timmy Turner. So it's kind of a fun little thing.
Wow.
She was Kyle's mom, Sheila Broflovsky, Wendy Testaberger, and Cartman's mom, and many other female voices in South Park. Through 2000, anyway. She was also Daphne in various Scooby-Doo direct-to-video movies through 2000. And she passed away, let's say, of her own accord in 1999 at age 38.
God damn.
Yeah, it was a very depressing thing. And we got the replacement for Daphne after that was the woman who voices
Jamie's getting this from his memory here.
Yeah, sure am. I'm just thinking, what's the sister fire girl in Avatar?
Azula?
Azula, yeah, started voicing Daphne after that. as like because they were like best friends or something, I think.
Oh,
so that was kind of cool.
Fuck.
We have Mary Lou Henner as Veronica Vreeland. She was at the party. She was blonde in this movie for some reason.
Oh, okay.
She would otherwise be pretty unrecognizable, other than that Bruce called her Ronnie as he walks away, and it's like, okay.
She's like, my name is Veronica, not Ron.
There was something I don't remember if I included it in Trivs or not, but there was some when we interviewed Randy Rogel. I think he was talking about how like they changed her hair from red because they didn't want her to be confused with Barbara Gordon in the movie for children. And then I thought about how most people that I've watched Mask of the Phantasm with think that redhead woman that comes up and splashes wine in Bruce's face, including yourself, is Andrea, because we just saw some redheaded woman on a plane and then a redhead appears at the party. And it's not Andrea. Why didn't they change that lady's hair? Maybe they learned from their mistakes. Who knows? Dean Jones as Dean Arbogast. He was the lawyer guy that they went into his bedroom. He was previously Sam Lane, Lois Lane's dad, in Monkey Fun. It was like, let's shoot a monkey into space, okay?
Yeah.
Mary Devon as Summer Gleason, some lady. Her name is accidentally misspelled with an A, like Glayason in these credits. That's not what it is. Leanne Shermer as Renee Montoya. And then we have additional voices, handful of them. Rahi Azizi, mostly known as Bova, in 27 episodes of Space Cases, which I've never fucking heard of.
Me either.
I have in parentheses the voices that they likely were, like the character. This was likely Kodak, the camera. Townsend Coleman, who was previously Chick in It's Never Too Late, programmer in Steel and McGorry's, co-pilot in Livewire, captain in the Promethean, and Muggsy in Double Talk. We have Brian George, that's your name. It was previously Jazzman in I Am the Night, and Councilman, who said upstart scientists with apocalyptic visions in Last Son of Krypton.
Well done.
Part 1, thank you. Ed Gilbert, previously Mr. Haley in Robin's Reckoning, Jake and Dugan, who were Buzz Bronski's thugs in Mask of the Phantasm, and University Guard in The Hand of Fate. Carl Lumbly is back. He was previously Mayor in Speed Demons. Now I want a fair race. Whoa, I got blown over by you guys running away. That's what he said.
You guys run so fast.
Tress McNeil, who played Marion, the old woman, previously
She's
woman
been in a lot.
in Time Out of Joint, falling down the stairs. Miss Stevenson in Lesage Part 2, tour guide in Little Piece of Home, little boy in Holiday Nights. I want a pony and a ham sandwich and a wow. Curator in Mix Yes Pixelated, revolutionary in Brave New Metropolis, and Margaret Madsen in Cold Comfort, who was like, don't freeze my dinosaur. And he said, no, I'm going to. Neil Ross as Myron. Previously, additional voice. Hey, come over here. I'm old as shit. Additional voices in The Cat in the Claw, Pretty Poison, and Mask of the Phantasm. Chairman in Harley and Ivy. Jake in Birds of a Feather. Ratso in Read My Lips. Dealer in Harlequinade. Male Anchor in The Way of All Flesh. And Captain in Speed Demons. Got 2 more. Randy Thompson. This is his only DCAU acting credit. He was in 4 episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer as Dr. Kriegel.
That means a lot to someone out there.
He mostly plays cops in bit parts on shows such as 24 Cops. Yeah, he just played a cop in Cops. 24, Malcolm in the Middle, Boston Legal, CSI, Ally McBeal, and Charmed. And then last we have Lauren Tom as Mariko from GothCorp, who I said, oh, can you guess the nationality of this character? Because he stands up and has the squintiest eyes you've ever seen. And we went, oh, boy. She was previously Ice Maiden number 3 in Cold Comfort, and she's Angela Chen in Superman the Animated Series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, do you remember, Brian?
Yeah.
For Mask of the Phantasm, I had 8 pages of Trivs. I only have 3.5 pages this time, so it's going to be a little bit quicker. But here we go. I'm going to start with Goofs, like Goofy.
Like a Goofy movie?
Like a yuck. This film more or less serves as the finale to BTAS, picking up after the events of Deep Freeze and Batgirl Returns, the final 2 produced episodes of the series. However, Renee Montoya is seen in an officer's uniform despite being promoted to special crimes by the end of BTAS. We saw her in like a detective uniform. Theoretically, this would mean this movie takes place before that promotion, but due to various other factors, it cannot.
Oh,
what a fucking stupid
multi-timeline. It's multiverse theory.
Oh, wait, don't I have that button now?
Well done.
I should use that more often. I shouldn't. When Bruce opens the donor file, the fields for sex, height, weight, and blood type are already filled in, though the data does not match Barbara's. In the next shot, the fields are empty again.
Nice.
When Mr. Freeze and Belson are looking at Barbara at the hospital, her information on the computer says she's 20 years old. This causes some confusion when considering she appeared to be drinking wine at the jazz restaurant with Dick Grace.
It was cranberry juice, you prudes.
Didn't spill a drop. At least you don't get to drink it now because I knew I planned this on purpose.
I mean, well, to be fair, she didn't drink any of it.
That's true.
She got kidnapped.
Did not, yeah. Barbara's file even lists her as being negative for HIV and includes her phone number 212-555-0142. Should you call that?
Yeah.
See what happens. Let's not do that.
Okay.
Nora Freeze's blood type is AB negative, which is actually compatible with most different blood types. The possibility of finding a universal donor is never brought up. But it's more than a blood transplant.
I was say, it's not just about blood.
Yeah. Dean Arbogast is holding a wine glass during the party, but when Belson speaks to him alone, it disappears. That whole party scene, you were just like pointing out left and right every other guest in the background.
We're used to like guests like we're used to guests.
Yeah.
People like background people being like so background that sometimes is like usually there's no movement. Sometimes there's very minimal movement, very minimal animation. Every single person in this huge club had a mouth that was moving. Everybody was just
there was that panning shot. You see the piano guy, and then it pans over, and like people like turn and notice each other and start shaking hands. And that guy with the mustache was going like forever. I also like right after that, there's like a Ronald Reagan caricature that just passes directly in front. I don't know who it is, but I've always thought it looked like him.
There's some weird stuff. That dude who's in the foreground, like blurred out, and he's just like completely unmoving, eyes
like,
wide.
You're gonna owe them the money, and dang it, and walks away. And then that guy's just like right next to the camera, staring into the camera.
Is this thing on? Am I out of shot?
Well, that's also like a thing I kept noticing with the art was the attempt and sometimes succeeding of like a focus pull. It worked really well with like when Nora gets blasted in half by the submarine, and then there's that shot of the flower in the foreground, and then it switches to her like dead hand coming out of the ground, and it's really, the music there is cool too.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, like, okay, that was cool. But then there's some of the shots of like the party guests, or there was a shot of Bruce and Dick who were standing like shoulder to shoulder. And Bruce, when it switched focus to Dick, he went like so out of focus where I was like, no, he's what lens are you using, man? Like, I don't think that would happen.
It's on a Kodak disposable camera.
Yeah, that's what they used to film this movie, to shoot the monitors of the computer screens. I got, when Belson is shooting at Barbara, he fires 9 bullets. A revolver holds usually only 6 bullets. You're asking yourself, Barbara, did I fire 7 shots or 6? 9 shots or 6. It is unknown how the Gotham news crew was able to acquire footage of the oil rig's explosion and collapse, which I think Kimmy called that. Yeah, as there's clearly no journalists or news. It might have been Laura. I can't remember.
Shit, someone was just
girl said it. There are clearly no journalists or news helicopters anywhere near the scene at the time. When Batman tries to pull Mr. Freeze up with a grappling hook, so the Freeze shot, he clearly lets go of it after a pipe falls on his shoulder, and he watches Freeze fall. However, it appears back in his hand as he gets up and runs back to the Batwing. So
I noticed that too.
I never really. I think it would have essentially ruined the shot for him to like be like, no, like reaching past the camera, and there's still like the grappling thing in his hand. Freeze! Like, what are you doing? But yeah, it's just kind of a whatever. In the series, Bruce and Dick are usually depicted with white sclera in their eyes, but in this movie, they do not save for a single close-up shot of Bruce when he's doing his like mind palace remembering.
There's also Belson, Mr. Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
There's one shot of him from the side where he has white scleras.
Yeah, okay.
And otherwhy, he's just the most piercing blue Fruit Loops.
He does have Fruit Loop eyes, piercing blue Fruit Loops, I think is
that gonna be the title?
I thought that whenever Barbara's lying in the bed and he like tries to like slap her awake or whatever, and then it goes to her pav and it goes blurry to focused.
She's just like, ah!
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, what's wrong with your eyes? Yeah. Last goof I've got.
She goes, I'm hungry, and just plucks
his
them.
eyes out. Last goof I've got is Barbara's shoes continuously lose and gain their heels. When she's at the party, she's got heels on her shoes. When she's running around, she doesn't.
No, that's normal. Like when you put enough pressure on them, they recede.
They're like
and then
Heelys.
They're Heelys, yeah.
But they're heels.
She's wearing Heelys.
Yeah. Okay, production.
Production.
According to director Boyd Kirkland in an April 1998 interview with the Animated Bat website, the crew was tasked with making a simpler, less dark, more kid-friendly story than Batman Mask of the Phantasm that could be cross-promoted with Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin film. With this in mind, he noted, since the last film had been all about Batman, we decided to have him play a less central role in this one and focus more on Robin and Batgirl instead.
Okay.
The interesting part of that being that, as Rob pointed out in the movie, which is not obvious in the movie whatsoever, but if you're just like aware of DCAU timeline lore, whatever, is like Barbara is operating as Batgirl separate from Batman and Robin still at this time.
Yeah.
So she doesn't know that Bruce and Dick are Batman and Robin, and they don't know that she's Batgirl. So it's just all really coincidental that they happen to appear for each other all the time. They're dating. They show up in the oil rig. How did you know I was here? What the fuck?
Yeah, it is kind of strange.
Brian's looking around thinking like, oh.
Yeah, well, it is like, I mean, I've seen, Batman work together with people in the past. And just like, or like it's Superman for that. I guess a different show, but
yeah.
Where they're like, oh, you go do that thing. And people are just like, okay, cool. We're doing the thing together.
Yeah.
And they kind of explain it, but.
Well, I just like when I first saw this movie and for the first several years of seeing this movie, I hadn't seen all of Batman the Animated Series as a kid. So I was just like, I had no reason to believe they wouldn't have known. Oh, of course, Batgirl, they know who that is because that's a bat person. Like, why wouldn't they?
They go to the bat meetings every Friday at the local town hall.
Yeah. But then, when in like BTAS, Barbara has like, oh, well, Batman's not going to show up to my dad's I'm not guilty party. Well, I'll show up as fake Batman and then pretends to be Batgirl or B's Batgirl one more time with Catwoman and then this movie. And so they still don't know that that's Barbara at this point. So when they're saving Barbara, they don't know they're saving Batgirl, and Barbara doesn't realize that Robin saving her was the guy she was out to dinner with like the previous nights. Just kind of a strange thing.
Yeah.
To get Boyd Kirkland to stay on board for more episodes as one of the directors of BTAS, WB included in the deal to work on a direct-to-video Batman movie. So that's why he's the director of this, is they're like, no, please don't leave. We'll give you a movie too.
Wow, and what a movie it was.
Before the film became about Mr. Freeze, it had a different script entirely, featuring Bane as a Terminator-esque villain, but Warner Brothers wanted the film to be about Mr. Freeze, as Arnold Schwarzenegger had just been cast as the character in the live-action Batman and Robin film. He was also the Terminator, so there's irony in this.
Wow, iron that shit out.
Okay. WB had initially asked Kirkland and Rogel if they could keep the same script, but replace Bane's role with Mr. Freeze. The creative team told them they had already written the movie with Bane, to which Warner's asked, well, can't you just use your word processor and where it says Bane, just switch it with Mr. Freeze? Rogel responded that it doesn't work that way since Bane and Mr. Freeze are two completely different villains, and just agreed to write a completely different script with Mr. Freeze instead.
That sucks.
Yes, it does.
Does that ever get produced, their Bane episode?
No. When we interviewed Randy Rogel, he told us about like a little more details of that. And then he also mentioned that I don't think that they've got like a full script written for the Bane thing. They just had like the outline, like the story outlines, like still several pages of what it was, the whole thing was going to be. If you're listening to this, Randy, please give me the other one. I really want to see that and like make a video about like what this could have been and that kind of thing. Cause it's very interesting to me that they were gearing up to write a Bane movie and they're like, oh, we just cast Arnold Schwarzenegger. You got to make it Mr. Freeze instead. And they're like, what? Yeah. Like, can't you
that
just
really
copy
sucks.
paste Mr. Freeze everywhere? Find and replace?
I don't know. Par for the course for people.
Yeah. For
in
executives.
I was say like people in like higher positions, whatever, of people in not necessarily low positions, but lower than the highest positions.
Yeah.
You know, it's being like, press the magic button and just change that whole thing, will you?
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, just make it Mr. Freeze instead.
I feel bad for Randy and co.
Yeah, well, and it makes me feel, it gives me a little bit more perspective on like maybe the movie was slightly rushed in that way. But then the ironic part of then like, but that Batman and Robin movie was bad, so like, can we not put this movie out this year? Can like nobody liked it, like whatever. So like, just kind of got fucked.
Do you know what the reception was on this?
I don't know. I don't have numbers for that.
Can we look up IMDb?
Yeah. Look up the
1 moment
box off or not box. I mean, it would have been like home video sales or whatever, but
yeah,
this was not theatrical. What the fuck? It's not the button I wanted, but it kind of works.
1 moment, please.
I wanted that one.
Wow. Rating on IMDb, 7.1 out of 10.
It's that Batwing shot.
Yeah.
In the music.
Oh my God.
What?
From RottenTomatoes.com. Boyd Kirkland's SubZero stands as not only one of the best animated Batman films of all time, but one of the best Batman films, period.
I disagree with that last part.
Fresh score.
Uh-huh.
Do you disagree with that part too?
No, I like it.
I do not agree. I do not agree with the 7.1.
Oh, yeah.
92% on Rotten Tomatoes? What the fuck?
Yeah. Despite Warner Brothers intending Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero to be simultaneous release with the 1997 live-action film Batman and Robin, the film was delayed a year later when the studios decided Sub-Zero would cause confusion in the marketplace with the upcoming live-action film.
Okay.
I can mildly understand that. Like,
you asked for Sub-Zero.
I know.
For Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero.
Yeah, you asked for Mortal
We just want
Kombat.
Batman and Mortal Kombat. We want this whole video game thing is going to come out in like 20 years.
Paul Dini has said that he made slight contributions to the movie, making a few story suggestions here and there, though ultimately his involvement was minimal. I don't think he's even in the credits anywhere on the writing for this. Production documents from the film are often labeled with the alternate title, The Iceman Cometh. Though this was a line uttered by Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze in the Batman and Robin film, it originally comes from the title of a 1939 play by Eugene O'Neill. According to Wikipedia, the work tells the story of a number of alcoholic dead-enders who live together in a flop house above a saloon, and what happens to them when the most outwardly successful of them embraces sobriety and reveals that he has been on the run after murdering his beloved wife. It is unknown if The Iceman Cometh was the original title for Sub-Zero or simply a placeholder for the production designers. I'm glad that we didn't have a movie with Cometh in the title.
That's pretty fucking terrible, actually.
According to Boyd Kirkland, Melissa Gilbert from BTAS, Batgirl actress, contracted to reprise her role from Batgirl, but due to other acting commitments was unavailable and replaced by Mary Kay Bergman. When the Batman Adventures was in production, Bruce Timm had decided to recast Melissa Gilbert with Tara Strong, as the creative team wanted a different, younger-sounding take for the character.
Okay.
Yeah. She does have like a little bit of like kind of a raspier, older sounding voice in this movie than the other two versions of her, I guess, but it's never bothered me. I don't know.
No.
Toward the beginning of the movie, Commissioner Gordon discussing Barbara with Dick is intercut with scenes of Batgirl beating up some muggers, much the same way Batman foiled a prison getaway, while Harvey Dent discussed Bruce with Pamela Isley in Pretty Poison. Don't know if you remember this at all, but they're like Poison Ivy and Two-Face before they're either of those are out to dinner. And he's like, oh, you know that Bruce, always catching up on business or whatever. And then it cuts to him like punching a guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the best. That was the best like 10 seconds of the whole movie.
It's like, oh, you know, all the guys are after her. And all the guys going, oh, fuck, get out of here. That's good. While the era in which the film is set is ambiguous, Dick Grayson gives a hint toward how early the film could be set. He tells someone to take his Corvette. The Corvette was first produced in 1953, meaning the film could not be set earlier than that. This movie also takes place in a world where Superman exists, so it could be whatever. Movie originally had a different ending, concluding with the cure and redemption of Mr. Freeze. The original ending was bittersweet, with Mr. Freeze being cured by the Wayne Foundation and able to hold his beloved Nora again, but then being led away to spend the rest of his life in prison. Warner Brothers asked Boyd Kirkland and Randy Rogel to revise the ending. The ending was altered so that only Nora was cured, with Victor to live in seclusion.
Wow.
Where you were like just saying how much better that would be if he got to be with her for at least a second. Yeah.
Well, like that becomes the new arc, right? And considering
Yeah.
Arkham can't hold anybody for any amount of time, like why not? Like let's roll with that.
Just do it. Yeah.
He's like, oh, then it's like Freeze's honeymoon. And they get a weekend away somewhere
the Freeze
warm.
is on vacation. Yeah.
Brain freeze. And him eating like an icy or something.
Whoa. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I shouldn't have drank that slower. Yeah.
You shouldn't have drank that.
I don't know what I just said.
I need more brain freeze.
Yeah, to stay Mr. Freeze. He becomes Mr. Freeze again by getting a big enough brain freeze. Again.
More like Mr. Brain Freeze. Whoa.
Hang on a second.
Thank you.
The MPAA logo appears in the end credits, but the film's rating is still unknown. Motion picture
NC-17.
Yeah, I think so.
Barbara Gordon in the like
Oh my god! Yeah,
exacerbated sounds in the
you want to
squeaking bed
describe
mattress.
that? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, listener, a picture looking kind of, you're laying on the floor looking up at a bed, and the mattress itself, this old mattress, springy mattress thing is bouncing up and down, and you just hear a girl with a very like percussive grunting kind of sound going on.
Yeah,
It was that.
I'd never really like noticed that, and then you.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
We don't need that. We just have.
Yeah.
How about a wide shot? Let's
why did it
establish with
start
that.
with the mattress and and then you just went, "Excuse me," or something, and then it pulled out to see that she was jumping. Yeah,
Yeah, we sure did pull out.
it sure did. Music is the last category, or no, second to last category.
I wrote music on my forearm.
You did.
Jamie.
I forgot to write something down, but I'll get to it in just a second. The soundtrack for this film was never officially released, only exists in the form of non-duplicatable screener copies for award consideration. The full soundtrack, however, can be found for free on YouTube at the time of this recording, which is where I got the Willett Cannon music from, because you recognized it. Yeah.
Are you going to talk about the song that I can't recall that is just a full fucking pre-produced
I only
song?
have eyes for you or whatever. Yeah,
I don't know what it's called.
I've got
but
that
it's,
in here.
Okay, cool.
At the very beginning, during the title screen, the music used was the theme composed by Danny Elfman for Tim Burton's 1989 live-action film Batman. This track does not appear on the soundtrack, presumably for rights reasons concerning Elfman's work. We interviewed, so this is what I want to talk about, why I made you write music on your arm, so I would remember, is we talked to the composers, like the three main DCAU composers a few years ago, and I asked Michael McQuistion about like that opening with the bat signal being frozen and stuff, has the like Tim Burton / btas Batman theme, but the rest of the movie doesn't have any hint of either the Danny Elfman or Shirley Walker Batman theme, like anywhere. And he has like a completely different, like triumphant kind of like boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, boom, boom thing going on the whole time. And it's like, why? So I asked him about that. And he was saying that Warner Brothers or, someone, whoever was in charge of that, had told him that they didn't want people to think that this was part of the same like continuity and whatever as Batman. They didn't want it to be like associated with the cartoon or whatever. They wanted it to be its own thing.
What?
And I'm like, in every other way, this is like a continuation of that cartoon. So what the hell are you talking about?
Oh, the musical theme that's only sometimes there. Don't use that, okay? Is that fine?
Then the kids won't be confused anymore. Yes, I don't know. This is a weird thing. Regarding the big band track that plays at the scene in the Shaughnessy's restaurant, composer Michael McQuistion has said, "I remember vividly recording the original track with a big band at Paramount's scoring stage M, and it was so much fun to do." And then, we've used that for the Willett Cannon theme.
Yeah, it's really good.
It is good. The Flamingos song, "I Only Have Eyes for You," was chosen for the film's soundtrack by Boyd Kirkland and Randy Rogel, as the two believed it helped make the characters seem more real. Like they take place in a real place.
I mean, that's funny because like when I heard that song, I was just like, suddenly this 300-pound guy and someone who looks vaguely like
oh yeah,
who did I say?
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole
Kidman, yeah. Going to the AMC theaters.
Yeah.
We love going to the Commissioner Gordon party.
Well, let me say to those who had a decision in that process, no, it took me out of it because I was like, why is there a real life song in this thing that's never had like, yeah.
It was kind of weird, but
bad move.
And then we also have "Am I Blue," the 1929 jazz standard written by Harry Axt and Grant Clark. Also featured in the film, heard on the radio in Barbara Gordon's dorm with her roommate Jenny. When she gets the phone call, they have like, "Am I blue? Am I blue?"
Am I blue?
Telling you. Yeah. Last category I have is legacy. SubZero was adapted into a comic book version released in May 1998.
Also a video game character.
Though also created in 1997 and held until the following year. This comic would be the final in-print appearances of these characters in their btas designs. Within the comic, Batgirl's gloves and boots are incorrectly colored yellow instead of blue.
And they have heels the whole time.
Yellow batsuit. Matching closer to her Bronze Age comics costume and the one seen in the 1960s, The Adventures of Batman animated series.
Why didn't I remember Batgirl just having a female version of Adam West's Batsuit?
Oh, the like gray and blue.
Yeah. Was it like that the whole time?
I mean, yeah. And
what the fuck?
Her two episodes.
What the fuck?
In the new Batman Adventures episode, Cold Comfort, Batgirl states that after Nora Freeze was revived, her husband never came to see her. However, the episode aired before this film was released, which spoiled some of its ending. Also, Bruce tells Freeze that Wayne Enterprises helped save Nora, prematurely revealing her fate. The movie probably had less impact, too, because... Oh, is Batgirl gonna die? No. Oh, is Nora Freeze gonna die? No. Like,
yeah,
I know everything. Is Mr. Freeze gonna die? No.
It's almost like it would have been better if they let it air in chronological order and didn't try to make it a Mr. Freeze episode and instead let the writers do what the fuck they were gonna. God damn it! Yeah, that's another twin parentheses thing you should do, like movie episode.
Since Bruce Timm was already busy with producing Superman the Animated Series, he wasn't available to work on SubZero. In back issue number 99, he expressed his disappointments with the film. The only story point that always kind of sticks in my craw is that they brought Mr. Freeze's wife back to life. That's something that I never would have done because in my head she was dead. She wasn't just like preserved on ice. She was dead.
To me, can't open up.
So to me, bringing her back to life, even though they did it for poignant reasons, it kind of made sense in the story they were telling. But it was, well, that's kind of like Mr. Freeze's whole thing, is that his wife is dead. He froze emotionally because of it and everything. Well, now if she's back to life, it's like, well, now what is he? So that was weird. So then they turned him into a spider, I guess.
Make him Spider-Man. It's fine.
Yeah. Do you remember... in Holiday Nights, blue dabba dee dabba die. Do you remember in Holiday Nights, I mentioned that the comic version of that was adapted from had a Mr. Freeze story in it that didn't make it into the episode.
Vaguely.
And Bruce Timm had been like upset about that. Originally wanted to adapt White Christmas, a story from the Batman Adventures Holiday Special for Holiday Nights, but was forced to drop the idea when he discovered that Nora Freeze was revived at the end of SubZero, as it was required to have Nora dead to adapt the original issue. So, like, in the story, he's going on a rampage because Nora Freeze is dead and it's at her gravesite and all this stuff.
Wow.
For instance, in the Holiday Nights episode, he says, we really wanted to do that Mr. Freeze story we'd done in the comics. We couldn't because the whole point of that story was Nora Freeze is dead. And, well, nope, she's back. She's not dead anymore. So no, that story is no longer canon.
I do want to get Bruce Timm on this podcast.
What do you think of SubZero? Yeah. Well, it is kind of weird to okay, we're going to hire a director from btas and a writer from btas and don't put the Batman theme anywhere in the movie and change the bad guy and but it's otherwise a btas movie, just not made by btas people or not, the people that run the show or have nothing to do with this movie.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a weird, why was this made, kind of thing.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't. I mean, those are your words.
No. Two more things I got. Boyd Kirkland. Boyd Kodak Camera was involved in a follow-up movie titled Batman Arkham, which would have featured Joker and Bane, both prisoners in Arkham, teaming up to take revenge on Batman. Bruce Wayne also would have been dealing with a heavy romance, causing him to consider giving up the cape and cowl.
Conspiracy.
Although,
I mean, we have had that already.
Yeah, the romance, the Andrea thing. It sounds a little derivative, but yeah. That's another video that we want to do at some point. Is there's a lot more information about that movie that never happened, and there were like character designs done and all this kind of stuff, but it just didn't happen, man.
Lame.
Instead, we got SubZero. Or just got SubZero. Last thing, Batman creator Bob Kane died 8 months after the film's release, making this film the last adaptation of the character that Kane would live to see. Which is okay with me because he's kind of a piece of shit. There's a whole thing about Bob Kane and Bill Finger are the two creators of Batman, but Bill Finger never got credited on anything for like 50 years or more. And then when his like family, I think, was like fed up with it enough, then he finally started getting credit for it. But it was like much after Bob Kane's death. So he was just like, yep, I made Batman for a very long time. Or like I think I showed you during Mask of the Phantasm Tribs where like Bob Kane had drawn a like Bruce Wayne is blonde with like a red costume and big bat wings and stuff like that. That was Bob Kane's Batman. And then Bill Finger came in and redesigned it to be what you expect Batman to look like. He created like Robin and Joker and the Batmobile and the Batcave and all this stuff that you associate with Batman as like, oh yeah, that's all the good stuff. And then Bob Kane's like, I made all of that for decades.
What a piece of shit.
Never gave him any money, all this stuff. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Where's Clayface? He's the ice that chips off of Mr. Freeze at the start when he's fishing.
Yeah. Let's roll with that.
Yeah,
no, he's the tree that Robin runs into tits first.
Oh, yeah. Ow, my tits, he says. Where's the button I want?
It's Batman's usefulness, baby, boo. There you go.
He saved the day, I guess. He saved Nora and everybody at the end, but he kind of was 50-50 with Robin on that, and Robin did a lot more like help when Batgirl got kidnapped.
To be fair, he was there, but
he was there. Well, that was the thing when you were talking about like you predicted sort of correctly. Oh, Batman and Mr. Freeze are going to team up. They did team up to freeze a stairwell. But
man, they did great.
I thought you were going to do a big, that's not how that works, to like freezing the fire multiple times at the end there.
If it was dense enough and it was able to extinguish the flames, like, exhaust them, like not allow oxygen through, then that's fine.
I mean, Mr. Freeze's gun has always been like a question mark sci-fi ice gun.
Oh boy, how's it ever?
There's no way that it like you could track what would actually happen.
Yeah, he did ice wall mode a couple times. He did ice spike mode a couple times. He did the fire extinguisher. He did the Silver Surfer. He did all of it.
He did do that, yeah. I do like that shot of him freezing the road and the motorcycle like all over it and falls down. Yeah, that's cool. I'll give Batman like a 4. He did 4 just for like saving Nora and Kodak camera at the very end. Okay. 4. Where did Batgirl get that U-shaped pipe, and how did it stay a line taut out of 10?
Talk about it. Okay. Let me get my rating first, and then we can check on that really quick. I'm gonna give him like 5.0.
Wow, very specific.
Cop cars piled up at a toll booth that Robin's gonna jump over.
The Blues Brothers pile up.
So that we got a grappling hook thing, and someone shoots it. I guess Robin shoots it.
Yeah, she's like, grab the line or whatever.
Yeah. He's like, shoots it. Like, here you go, grab it. And,
she says, shoot me a line. And as a kid watching it on VHS, I always heard, shoot me alive. And I just went, why are you just done with the situation?
I don't want to die by fire.
Yeah, please kill me now. Yeah.
But so there's like a scene where, if I remember correctly, Batman is like leaning back and holding onto the rope.
Yeah.
And then the both of them leave.
They run away from Mr. Freeze and get frozen inside a thing. Yeah.
The line is attached to what?
He really quickly tied it off somewhere. I don't know.
And she goes to like U-shaped zip line metal thing, and
it's a cartoon for children.
Don't patronize these kids.
I don't know. It was weird. It was dumb.
Books or hip hop?
Books.
Gregory Belson's driver's license in the
registration.
Yeah. Top 10. We have to put it on the movie top 10.
Oh,
Sorry about that, buddy.
God damn it.
Which so far is just Mask of the Phantasm. So it's going at number 2.
You want, while you're there, you just want to put at number 10 for me too?
I thought you were just going to say number 2 as like poop.
Oh my God, it's like a number 2.
It wasn't that bad. Listener, I liked it more than Brian by a lot.
Same time.
You two have the same number 2 placement.
The story was okay. The art was distracting. I just didn't love it.
I think the CGI kind of ruins the movie.
The CGI kind of destroys the movie. And the last 2/3 of the plot also destroy the movie.
The just kind of... stretch this out.
Well, it's like, you're right. If we could cut out, let the first 15 minutes play, cut out the next like hour, and then end with the last 5 minutes, great episode.
Yeah.
Fuck the rest of that.
I do think like it would be a better episode for the plot, but I do think like if it wasn't a movie, then it wouldn't even have any of the, potentially anyway, it wouldn't have any of the sort of cinematic qualities it has that make it feel bigger or whatever. I had that thought when Barbara's running away from the polar bears. Stop! We're police bears. That's what they were trying to do the whole time. We're cops. She's running away from the polar bears on top of the oil thing, and she like runs up to the edge and sees the ocean, and then it pans back out and shows her standing there. And first of all, she's like way bigger than she should be in the wide shot of the entire thing, where she looks like she's like 20 feet tall or something, because by the end of the movie, you see how much more real estate that thing has or whatever. But that just made me think of, if this was an episode, it would just be some random abandoned warehouse or something where she was being kept. But the fact it's like, it's in the middle of the ocean on a big thing that can explode at the end. It's like, because it's a movie. If it wasn't a movie, it might explode still, but it wouldn't have all this like extra
police bears.
There wouldn't be any police bears.
Yeah.
They had New Batman Adventures Joker eyeballs. The bears did.
They did.
Just like real polar bears. They're evil. They're so mean and mad all the time.
Also, like, why didn't those people in the nightclub like just grab Mr. Freeze's gun
and freeze the bear?
I mean, they're just like,
do anything.
The gun? Hey, should we steal that gun? Yeah, maybe let's steal that gun. Well, let's look at it for a second. Okay, let's grab the gun.
The
bear, the polar bears are growling at us.
You made a good point of when
Did I?
Yeah, well, when Barbara's like, no, I'll come with you, just don't hurt him. And he's like, oh, okay. And they start to leave. And then Dick's one more time like, no, fuck you. And so Mr. Freeze freezes the chandelier and it almost like stabs him to death, but he rolls out of the way. And you, just like Darkseid killing Dan Turpin, you were like, is that not in violation of hurting him? Like, you just said to not do. But I think in this situation, it was like, well, what's she going to do if he kills him anyway? Like, she kind of has to go with him. He's got polar bears. Like, what's she gonna do?
Magical polar bears. They have a perfect understanding of the English language. They're
police officers.
They're police officers. They're not gonna hurt this like random human that's locked in this cage, barely big enough for the both of them in the back of this van.
Freeze drives his van to wherever he was gonna leave it and opens the door, and they've like shredded her to bits in the back.
Right?
Like, God damn it!
I needed those insides.
Come on.
Shaka Khan.
Come on, man. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, I also like your when she's running down the hallway and she's like, where do I go? And you're like, try the animated door or whatever. And then there's bears in there. Oh no.
Oh, we should have known.
Oh, and the elevator when she's like, we can take the elevator because everything's on fire. And I was like, especially as a kid, when you just hear like stuff from firemen in school all the time being like, hey, if you're in a burning building, like take the stairs. Do not use the elevator. It'll fucking fall apart and die.
Elevators specifically say in event of fire, use the stairs, dipshit.
Batman and Batgirl go like, nah, makes sense. Let's go. I guess I have no other option. I don't know. But yeah. And then Mr. Freeze freezes the fire away on the elevator, and then it starts going. And I always want it to be like he freezes the bits of the elevator that are on fire, and then the elevator still can't go because now it's frozen. What did you expect, Mr. Freeze?
I wanted when Mr. Freeze froze the fire in the stairwell going down. I wanted Batman to like go to like take a heroic step and then just immediately ass over tea kettle and slips and all the way down.
Too, yeah. I'll say about Mr. Freeze's like final moments, and well, not final moments looking through that window, but on the oil thing. I do appreciate I feel the emotion of him being like, no, you can come back for me. Like, go get my wife, please.
Yeah.
Like it's very well done. But the poses that he strikes as he's delivering those lines are like too theatrical. Like when he's got his legs stuck under
his wrist over his forehead
stuck under the thing, and he just goes like, I can't do it, and like leans back with his hand over his forehead. And then when he's like,
it's very much like damsel in a silent film, like fainting from the terror or something. Oh no.
And then when he says that line of like, you can come back for me, and he's just looking away from Batman, really like down to the side, like I would do in a movie. And I'm like, you can look at Batman, he's right there. Like you can talk to him. It looks cooler, I guess. I don't know. All right. I think that's all we have to say about this movie, probably. I like the music, even though it's not the Batman stuff.
Yeah.
Like I said, out in the living room, the timpani guy got a good gig.
Yeah. He was
in
working
the trombone
overtime.
section. Yeah.
What's the key?
What?
How's it go?
What are you trying to do?
The Will It Cannon theme.
Oh, wada, wada. Yeah, the whole trumpet thing. Yeah. Bop, 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 Anyway, we go to the mail now and see what everyone else thinks of this movie. They'll like it more than you did.
They'll like it 92% in Rotten Tomatoes.
Hell yeah, they will.
Well, I pressed a red button, and that means
I pressed a button that was green and now it's red. What does that mean?
Jail.
Jail? Wee woo, wee woo. Oh, the police are here. For pressing the green button. They said, no, that's not what you're supposed to do in life.
That is the least of your concerns, though.
Oh?
Because your face is falling off.
Because I'm really sunburned? No, I'm not. You can't tell, listener. You can't see me.
Jamie, your face is so pink it's almost gray, and I'm a little concerned about
gray.
that.
Is that what happens on the pink spectrum? It's so pink, and then it just becomes gray because our eyes can't see that pink? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think it's the auto white balance on the camera. It's just like, I don't know.
What is this?
Kind of like the Gray Hulk.
Yeah. This is the mail for SubZero, so that you're up to speed because it's been a while.
It's too hot. It's been a while
since we recorded SubZero.
It's been too hot to be talking about something that's SubZero.
Been too hot. It is really, really stupidly hot. I keep.
How hot is it there?
It's been in the low I almost said early 90s, the low 90s,
the far gone 90s.
Yeah, the far gone days of the 90 degrees, 98 degrees. No, it's not been that hot, but I of course keep complaining to people that live in much hotter places, and they're like, "Bro, it's 105 here." Okay, I'm like, all right.
It was supposed to be 107 here today.
Oh my God.
The hottest I saw was 103.
I was outside a lot of today. I did put sunscreen on this time, and I looked at your Instagram story, I think, whatever had a Bubs on it, a picture of a Bubs.
That was in the Yoppie chat.
Oh, that's right. That was in the secret Dylan Keene place that nobody else is allowed into. Ha 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 ha. I just pressed whatever button I could reach. And I was glad to, by the way, we have a new Discord server open. I was glad to see Dr. Dirtbeck in there because I hadn't seen much from him lately, and it was nice. That's all. But what was I saying? Bot. I was in.
You were outside.
That's the new. This, but it's just what kind of man was that? I don't remember. Oh yeah, thank you. Off screen, Dr. Derp. What was I was outside walking around. Oh, I saw the picture
Sunscreen.
that you posted of the dog.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I just looked out the car window to see how sunny it was in that photo and thought, oh my God, like I wouldn't want to be there. Like I was just feeling the Eugene sun while I was in the Astoria sun. I mean, but what the fuck ever, who cares anymore? But everyone knows where we live. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Shout out to all my friends in Northern California who are currently dealing with the 115 and 110 degree temperatures, which is why I don't live there anymore.
I was just going to say, don't live there, idiot. Why don't you just go move to a colder planet?
I'd go back to Norway.
I'd go back to Mars. Yeah.
Jamie,
should we do the mail? Is that what's happening?
This isn't the start of a podcast. We got to be more.
If you'd like to reach out to us, like the Fire Ant at the End of World's Finest Part 3, you can send us a punctuated email or a 60-second voice message to batwagonpod@gmail.com. Or leave a comment on today's episode on the Podtower YouTube channel, but please don't spoil anything past this episode for Brian.
I think while you do the mail, I'm just going to play Helldivers. Is that cool?
Okay, yeah. You can just kind of go neat every once in a while. That's your usual input
sick.
Anyway.
Let me fire this up.
This is emails and comments from the last episode, Growing Pains or Big Daddy or Proper Disturbance. But
look, I had a tough work day, okay?
I know. I'll just download a video of someone playing Helldivers without commentary, like just the sounds of the game, and put it on like 2 decibel volume in the background of the whole mail section.
So you'll only hear it when we're perfectly quiet.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's that like whatever horn song that plays when you're landing. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on, dude. Give me some mail, bro.
Okay. First, I have actually a review on Apple Podcasts. It's very brief. It's from.
It just says podcast! Exclamation point.
5 stars. Yeah, that would be great. Just do that. Anyone listening? Sith Man with a 4 for the A, so Sith Maphorin says, "Great pod. I have made it. I am here now and will never comment again. I am also from Alabama." Thank you very much.
Oh my! Well, why weren't you in Big Bus on March 9th?
Everyone from Alabama showed up to the live podcast.
If you haven't made it to the live podcast show, then that doesn't make any sense to you. But
if you didn't make it to the live podcast show, that means you're not from Alabama.
Yeah, pretty much.
They overlapped 100%. Meatballs McGee, who is Robert Sterling. Jimmy and the Brain. Ugh, I don't like this new guy. He sounds like a fucking nerd. He's talking about himself. In all seriousness, thank you again for having me on. I'm beyond honored to have gotten to talk about one of my favorite TNBA episodes, as in the National Basketball Association. Being in the room with you two was, it says, a complete waste of time, but that's crossed out and says, absolutely incredible. You guys are amazing friends. I love you both dearly. Until next time, good night and fuck you from Big Bus. Sent from my 2003 Toyota Corolla parked right outside. Oh no, look out the window, bro.
True, I wonder. Oh my God, Rob!
He's here.
It's too hot to sit in your car.
Especially in 2003.
In 2003. It would have been cooler.
That's true. Oh, That's sad. Growing Pains from Michelle Salerno. Hello, Jeff and Butt.
I'm Butt.
I'm Butt. I get to be Butt. As I watched this, I was like, this animation is too good. Hold on a sec. Typing noises. Tokyo movie Shinja. Except it was Studio Ghibli. No, but seriously, the art and animation here was perfect. I don't think we get to see more TMS for TNBA. That's wrong. We do.
Yeah.
Batman says God in the episode. Yeah. Right before his daddy line when he stands up.
He also says daddy.
Yeah, both. Every time they have the opportunity to say God, it makes the scene way more powerful and strikes more emotion in me than that something is bad. When he was like, I know who daddy is and about to drive away, I was expecting the reveal to be like a paternity test on Maury. In the case of something-year-old Annie, Clayface, you are the father. Applause while Clayface runs himself into a wall. Becomes the wall? Bro, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. If somebody could make that into an audio, I'd be eternally grateful because I lack the man voice for any good impressions here. I'm practicing my Harley, though. Seriously, this episode hits the checklist. Good writing, good art and animation, good voice acting. Batman doesn't murder Clayface. Last thought, poor Tim. His first love turned out to not even be a real person. What's worse, your first girlfriend turning into the moon or your first girlfriend being Clayface? Yup, till you drop.
That's rough, buddy.
I'll expect Tim for the rest of the series to be, my girlfriend turned into Clayface. Yeah.
So, first girlfriend was a real person. It's just your first girlfriend was a man?
Oh, yeah.
A gay
maybe.
man? Your first girlfriend is a gay man.
Made of
That's
makeup
happened.
beans. Gay beans. I wish that could be a subtitle. It's too late now. We can't make the SubZero episode or gay beans. I mean, we can. I can do whatever we
can.
want.
We could do whatever you want.
Super Beetle, Brian, James, no nicknames. I thought I'd just change the order of your names. Oh, he said your name first.
He said my name first. Yeah.
Just
Love
rewatch SubZero. It's honestly way better than I remember. Really, my only issue this time was the poorly integrated CGI. VeggieTales looking ass. And the new Barbara voice. It was very VeggieTales. Speaking of voices, Kevin's was on fire this movie. Maybe the best his Batman voice has sounded so far. Yeah, I agree. Funny you mentioned wanting to work a movie projector. I've been working at a movie theater since just before the podcast started, and the managers, most of which are your ages, what does that mean, are always the ones who handle the projection.
We're the same age.
We're the same age. Anyway, stay yoppy and scratch the double-sided DVD you watch this movie on. Oh, don't scratch. Jesus Christ. Nick Sorensen. Yeah. Oh, no one has to watch this ever again. Nick Sorensen, thoughts on Growing Pains, or here's Clayface. You happy now? As someone who's just recently spent the time binge watching the majority of Hey Arnold a while back, there's a part of me that just wants to think of Helga Pataki now when I listen to Annie in this episode, knowing they got the same voice actress. Move it, bird boy. Yes, me too. Howdy Dryan and Bames from Lemonade. Is this a new? Do I press the wait? Where the fuck is the button?
Yeah, press the
holy shit! Yeah.
Bat.
Right off the
Bat.
I just want to say that I'm not fully. That's the new use for that button.
Oh my god!
I just want to say I'm not fully caught up with the podcast yet.
Good.
I'm listening through so you won't hear that for weeks or whatever. I'm listening through the whole thing so I can be fully prepared for a certain second to last TNBA episode that was my formal introduction to the DCAU. I just want to say thanks for that penultimate. Just want to say thanks for continuing on with the podcast. Yes, other than adjacent. I started listening just this June, and I caught it at a weird transitionary point in my life. Graduated high school, prepping for uni, started my first job. So it's nice to have something.
Where in England are you?
Yeah, I know. You just gave it away. So it's nice to have something like this to de-stress with and listen to during work. Stay yoppy bros.
Biggest bus, London. England. My bad.
What? Biggest bus, London. England. There's multiple. Just like the podcast name. Yeah. This is from GothCorp. SubZero comment. Just calling in with a message from our PR team regarding the disappearance of Gregory Belson. Best wishes, GothCorp, the people company.
Hey there, this is just a message from GothCorp, the people's company. I'm calling in, sorry about the audio quality, but I'm calling in from the ocean itself because apparently the people's company doesn't know how a vacation works. I'd also like to extend a personal fuck you to Dr. Gregory Belson for getting kidnapped during my one vacation a year. I'm disappointed my kids for you, Greg, so I hope you turn up dead. They asked me to once again deny that we had anything to do with Mr. Freeze, but I just had an interview with LexCorp and it went pretty well, so I think I'm going to go ahead and put in my 2 weeks and say Mr. Freeze is the only cool thing we've ever done in GothCorp. We should do more shit like it. Anyways, just, I guess fuck you, fuck this company, and fuck Gotham City. I'm out. Bye.
Whoa.
I really like the reversal of time, just like the movie, is very good. We have too smart of listeners. We can't live up to their level. Agreed.
Yeah, totally.
Speaking of, Nemananab says KO. That's been a while.
Ko.
Super Luigi 64, Batman and Mr. Freeze SubZero, or BTAS never looked so good, or Mr. Freeze should have quit while he wasn't ahead.
I like that.
Scrudge says CGI Alfred is my sleep paralysis demon.
CG, yes. Holy fuck.
Very true. Yeah. Dylan Pollock, SubZero. So it's time for another movie.
Thoughts of the week from Dylan Pollock on Batman and Mr. Freeze SubZero, or, oh, so we're using CGI now, eh? You may be cool, but you'll never be swimming with pet polar bears cool. It's very weird seeing Mr. Freeze in a button-down and shorts. Also, what's happened to my dick? No longer a Nightwing, but suddenly a Robin again? James, explain! He asks Bruce for any advice on women, and I'm pretty sure all Bruce can tell you is being a billionaire does help. And also, I demand the deleted scene of Mr. Freeze training and domesticating his polar bears. Also, is there a reason their names are Nachka and Shaka? Also, Kunak, what's his deal? Also, there's a weird moment where they go to the person for help and they mention Belson was an expert in that. We really just need a look from Bruce, but instead we get Bruce doing a look and then it's like, choo, 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 as we see like flashbacks, and that was a bit much. Also, based on the fact that she just needs an organ transplant, there could literally be a version of the movie John Q where Denzel just plays Mr. Freeze taking a hospital hostage to get Nora's organ transplant. I love when Barbara's like, stop shooting, you idiot, these are fuel tanks, and Belson's just like, no. It's time for the question of the week. James' favorite part.
Yes.
You're robbing a place in Gotham or Metropolis. Which city do you pick and why? And what time of day? How are you pulling this off?
Oh, man.
Gotham daytime.
Well, I was going to say that, but I feel like there was like sunsetty kind of summer weather when Batman and Robin stopped those guys in the movie. Like there were all those Hey Arnold kids playing in the fire extinguisher, or the fire extinguisher. Fire hydrant.
Let's have a fire extinguisher fight. Yay!
Whee! It's like Hey Arnold, they said. I agree though. Like maybe like mid-morning, the only time Batman could possibly be sleeping.
Yeah. During some point in time where Bruce Wayne has to do like a speaking appearance at some gala or something.
Also, I don't know what I'd use it for, but I want to just clip Dylan saying, "What has happened to my dick?" and use it for blackmail in some way. I liked Dylan also saying that he played the Giselle part from last episode to her, but hadn't gotten to the part where I said he just played this for her, and then when he played it for her, it ended with me being he just played this for her, and he like freaked the fuck out from that. So there you go, and then he just played that for her. So there you go. I'll just say that after everything. Lanola Cola, tug on the super cape. All right, everyone. Chill. Just what we need in a hot summer. Brick Guy and Janny, Mr. Freeze. And a movie, too. So Batman, Mr. Freeze, SubZero, a.k.a. No, It's Not a Mortal Kombat crossover. I remember seeing this sometime in the 2010s, and the only thing that stuck with me was Freeze freezing the submarine crew and thinking, wait, are they all dead? Going back to the btas style is jarring, as is Barbara being Mary Kay Bergman and not Tara Strong, after getting used to the STAS TNBA style, but it is a refreshing return. I have to say, this movie was really hip-hop, till we yap again. P.S. My Buy Me a Coffee was meant to line up with my... Oh, we haven't gotten to it yet, I don't think. Meant to line up with my birthday on June 27th and Joker's Millions on June 28th. So if you've read or have yet to read it, please note that my birthday has already passed. Well, when we get there, we will.
Shit. Sorry, buddy.
We don't get to choose. It just lines up where it lines up.
That's fair.
People send us coffee and then we say thank you. And we do 100 push-ups. Trevor West, thoughts on SubZero / NASCAR promotion. Oh my goodness, there's pictures attached? What are they? Oh, I'll get to this. Hello, Jack Daniels and Bacardi. This is probably my most watched DCAU movie. I'm not sure why. While I enjoy it, I don't think it makes my top 3 DCAU movies, which I won't spoil the name of for Brian.
Thank you.
But I do love the movie and think the performances are stellar as usual. Recently going through old stuff and found an old hat from the 2004 Justice League promotion they ran with NASCAR. While I'm willing to bet that I'm in a small minority of your viewers that are also avid NASCAR fans, I'm sure that many would love to have the official diecast that were made of the cars. I won't mention character names for spoilers, but I believe every character in the JL was represented on a car. I have a Batman / Mark Martin number 6 diecast somewhere, and I am desperately searching for it. We'll attach photos of the hat in case you're interested. TM West from Virginia. There's a...
I mean, that's awesome, but it's fucking confusing.
I'm sure I'll mention it at some point, but yeah, there was a comic that was like a toy tie-in for NASCAR. And every, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, etc. had like a different NASCAR driver associated with them in the merchandise. This is the hat, I guess.
Hell yeah.
I want that Batman hat. It's not even NASCAR related.
Yellow bat suit.
Yeah, man.
I mean, what was the marketing thing? That NASCAR thing is going to be stuck in my head for a bit.
Oh, I think it was just some sort of NASCAR event. Justice League was popular on TV. The end. I don't really know.
When I was watching X-Men as a kid, that was around the era that my dad was watching NASCAR. So I feel like I've got a little bit of a soft spot there in my heart. Soft spot there in my heart.
Well, when we get to Static Shock, there will be a lot of like real people that show up.
Oh no!
And so like the idea of like real world people being in a DCAU thing,
there better be Michael Jordan.
No.
Oh, wait, when did it come out? No, that would have been 2000s, right?
Yeah. It was
Yeah,
a
he
little
wasn't
past
that
his
cool.
prime or whatever. There will be basketball people, though. But we'll get there.
Shaq. Shaq would absolutely sell it for something like
Correct.
that. Yeah!
There will be Shaq. There will be Shaq. Dusty Minix. Hello there, longtime listener through Spotify. First time commenting on a YouTube video. Just to say, I'm enjoying the podcast. Growing Pains was one of the first Batman episodes I remembered seeing as a kid on Cartoon Network, and it really got the ball rolling with my love of DC. As you guys discussed, the animation in that a good one to do. As you guys discussed, the animation in that episode was astounding. Now you're going on to watch my first DCAU movie I obsessed over, SubZero. As a child, I had the VHS of the movie, played it so many times it unfortunately got destroyed. I loved this movie as a kid. Seeing Batman, Robin, and Batgirl together in one movie was a treat for me. The music is pretty good. The ending still tugs at the heartstrings for me, even if it doesn't make much sense that Mr. Freeze would be able to hear the broadcast. Overall, this isn't better than Mask of the Phantasm, even though as a kid I thought it was. But it's still a pretty solid story, even with some minor flaws. Anyway, keep up the great work and podcast. Also would like to say, enjoyed the last Will It Cannon video as well. Thank you.
This is going to be another one of those situations where I hear all the mail from people and I start to feel bad about my commentary.
I don't think so, because we'll get some negative SubZero stuff too. I've read ahead to like comments and things. So yeah. Euphonium Star Damage Report. This is for Growing Pains. 4 motorcycles, cash register, bench, tunnel grate, chemical tank.
Wait, tunnel grate?
Oh, yeah, he didn't really destroy it. He just went through it. Unless he did, I don't know. Annie, sad face.
Annie,
Clayface's feet, catwalk railings, chemical tank, again, exploded. And Robin's heart. Ashley Touchin, I'll be honest, I usually zone in and out for the first 5 to 10 minutes of the podcast, so imagine my surprise when I was just casually making my bed half asleep and suddenly heard my name right off the Bat-Wagon. Not a bad strategy to grab my attention during the introductory chaos, boys. Growing Pains is by far one of my favorite entries in the DCAU with the most tragic game of Where's Clayface ever played. I'm glad Brick went against type and actually liked it. Now load up the projector, Jim Jam, because we're headed back to the movies. I can't wait. By the way, James, after high school, I spent 2 weeks with a family friend in a small country town where I learned how to work a film projector at the local cinema. If you want, I can make you my apprentice and impart the knowledge that I learned 15 years ago and definitely still remember. Thanks. Yeah, I'll just fly to Australia. We'll be fine. Legacy Allen. So I've been reading it as Legacy Michael Allen because that's what it says. And then he in the new Discord, which is linked below, listener. You should go hang out in there. He said like, oh, it's so weird to hear my government name every time that you. And I was like, well, Lanola Cola asked me to say Lanola Cola because they put it in the subject line. So just put whatever you want me to call you in the subject line. So this says from Legacy, Yopton's log number 70. I don't think I want to do that anymore. Is this word again? It's this word again. Kayfabe. Tip Tappercut explained it to me at the live show, but I already forgot. Out of kayfabe, I'm officially caught up, but my log notes still remain. Feel free to let me know when this bit has overstayed its welcome, because I got plenty until then.
Yopton's log, number 70. This stretch of the trail was pretty bizarre, and as such my retelling will be a tad sporadic. I came across an old classic. Today's journey brought me face to face with Avatar. No, not that one. No, not that one either. A joke that never gets old. Among this line of thought, I'm led to consider commentary regarding a specific, quite dated quote from voyages long past. Jim Jam Jabberwock and Bagwhack Broderick questioned why Ivy and Harley were chosen to capture Batman for trial, conveniently forgetting that they two-handedly captured the Crusader and threw him into a radioactive river. I tried to tell my crew of this insanity, but there was a mutiny on my hands as they put playing cards on the hats of my loyal crewmates, tied me up, and held a trial at my expense. Question James and die, they said. The crew sentenced me to a Holoquinate Groundhog Day, where it felt I was living it again and again, but something was off. Wait, was that Dylan Pollock and Keen Machine?
No.
Dylan is James, and Scott Louis 1 is Keen, and what in the 7 seas is
No, that was just us. We just had weird voices that day.
I think these messages, by the way, are like probably what's like saving me from mental degradation.
Yeah.
Like this is like, I think anybody who's listening to this is these messages will never get like Alzheimer's or dementia or anything. Like this is just like exercising every neuron.
It's like a magic spell that they put on you. You will never lose your memory.
You got to pay attention, but
as long as a William Shatner impression retells what you said on a podcast to you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm happy about that.
Batman and Mr. Freeze SubZero from Eric LeBeau, or yes, listener, that is the music from the Willet Cannon intro. What's good, James and Brian? I just want to say it's so good to see this version of Batman again. I like my Batman with a bluish hue. I remember this movie watching this movie about a year ago with a friend on Discord who's an even bigger comic nerd than me, and she was really surprised how well written the ending was for Mr. Freeze. I then reminded her of Cold Comfort, and she replied, well, fuck Bruce Timm. Hey, he didn't want to do it. Now it's time for my question to you both. Would you rather have the powers of the Human Torch or Iceman, and why? Until next time, keep calm and yop on. Right now, I'd like the fucking Iceman powers. Just cover myself like he does to change clothes, and then just stay in there.
You're like, this is me for the next month.
Yep.
Or two. Maybe a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
I want to. So living on the west coast of America, and the fact that we're ramping into fire season, we had smoke from California.
I saw your warning to
today.
Local friends, like, "Hey, don't do fires, please." Yeah.
Hey, don't do anything at all. I feel like you couldn't use fire powers most of the year. Ice powers, fucking whatever. Do it all the time. So yeah, sign me up for that ice.
That's true. Yeah, you could ice powers whenever. In the winter, you can use them to make like snowmen and shit, and that'd be cool. And in the summer, you just be Iceman. Yeah, I'm just going in my ice cocoon. Goodbye.
Probably wouldn't be snowmen if they're made of ice. They would also be icemen.
Maybe they can be snow. Maybe they can be softer ice.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a Marvel guy, so I don't know what he can do. He can probably do snow, like Frozone from Incredibles or something.
I think I've specifically seen instances of him like with like snow falling around. I don't know if it was just like a cast off. I don't know. That's decades ago.
Just be Mr. Freeze, shoot your gun into the sky, accidentally hit an airplane.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Nesper, longtime listener, first time yappener.
Bye.
Okay, that's not true, at least not yet. I'm catching up with the podcast because I learned about it maybe a month and a half ago now, and I'm already on Robin's Reckoning. Okay, that's like 60-something maybe? Like, that's okay, I guess.
That's all right.
Absolutely loving where I'm at so far. It's great background noise for chores when I'm playing Minecraft. Works for me. Decided to leave a comment on the next new episode to mark my progress, as I originally started with new episodes for a few weeks before realizing I should just watch them in order. You didn't have to, but I appreciate it. I had to do a double take when I finally learned what the origin of books or hip hop was. When I catch up, I'll leave a comment about my history with BTAS and the DCAU, so I'll no longer be a mysterious listener that watches from the sidelines.
Sweet.
As for Growing Pains, I don't actually remember how I watched this growing up, but I always remembered this at one episode and absolutely fucked my younger self up. Stay Yoppie, Stewie, and Brian. I get to be Stewie, I guess. Banana Man says, okay.
Okay.
Kale. Hello, Gymnasium and Brian Slab. Now you Gymnasium and Brian Slab, like Science Lab. You see?
Oh, wow.
Mine's more of a word, but you may be thinking to yourselves, this was a Batman episode with not a sliver of kryptonite to be seen. Why is Kale writing in? To which I will reply, I can yop if I want to. I can yop your friends behind, because your friends don't yop, and if they don't yop, they're no friends of mine, because it's my birthday. Whoa! Or at least it will be when you read this email. Very nice. Happy birthday.
Congratulations on having a day of birth.
You were born this day. For funsies, my vibe is Step by Step by New Kids on the Block, which just goes to show that even if something looks like books, it can be hip hop.
Are you insinuating that New Kids on the Block are hip hop?
I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that, but Brian apparently does.
I'm old enough to.
Slowly melting away in this Oregon heat wave, Kale. P.S. I'll know by the time you get to mail if you've talked about it or not, but if you haven't, out of curiosity, I looked it up, and AB- or AB negative is the only the second rarest blood type in the United States, being beaten out by fucking B negative. Jesus. Anyways, donate blood and stay frosty.
Is that how you cool down? Do you donate blood? Someone take my blood.
Get the hot blood out of me.
Give me the
Put it in
cold
Nora
blood.
Freeze. True Score, Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, or Barbara Gordon and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. Movie time, Brianna and Jasmine. Oh, don't call me Jasmine. That's my ex-girlfriend's name. So a little story about this movie. I missed it when doing my watch through of the DCAU a few years ago. Don't ask me why or how. I just forgot. And the only other time I had seen this was in my sister's friend's unfinished basement on a singular box TV with a VHS player. I sat on a brown foldable chair and watched the whole thing while they played upstairs in her room. Thinking back on it now, it seems like that would have looked terrifying, me sitting in the middle of an unfinished basement, practically a concrete slab, just watching it on a TV in the middle of the room, minding my business. I guess I just needed my Batman hit for the day or I'd be having a headache. But anyway, I don't know how people feel about this movie, but it felt more like a Barbara Gordon and Robin movie than it did Batman. Like Bruce was there, but he wasn't really the main person. It was great seeing a clean story thread finish up for Freeze, even though he's a robot spider now. But yeah, just fine. It's no Mask of the Phantasm. Till next time, Brody, sent on my robo spider creature compatible with slightly cooled skin. Thank you.
I don't think that would be that freaky. Like, there's some weirdo hanging out in the basement watching movies, doesn't matter how finished the basement is.
Well, I'm just imagining it like a Blair Witch looking thing where he's just standing facing the corner watching SubZero on a TV.
It's got a really short power cord and you got to stand in the corner to look at it.
The TV's not even plugged in, but it's somehow playing SubZero.
Oh, that's a little more freaky.
I got weirded out by this one at first because I just saw the name Dylan, but this is Dylan Sargent, which is a new one, I believe.
Oh, what?
Says, hi there, my name is Dylan.
Hi,
Joker's
Dylan.
Millions was you have to change that. I don't know. Joker's Millions was the first episode of the pod I've listened to. So hearing James repeatedly call out Dylan caught me by surprise. I've since gone back and started working on the backlog, and all I can say is you guys are great. Well, thank you, Dylan.
Thank you.
What a lovely name you have.
Evil Dylan? Are you
Dylan Sargent. So we can just call him Sergeant Dylan.
Sarge. How about Sarge?
Just Sarge, yeah.
Sarge. You gotta say it like a pirate or Mr. Krabs.
Yeah. Oh, there's a new TikTok up, by the way, if anyone hasn't watched that. It's from a while ago. It's from the Ghost in the Machine episode. But I'm making my way through my list of funny moments to turn into TikToks. So
making my way through a list
of funny moments to turn into TikToks.
Oh.
This is from Ryan Hip. Strength now, courage always, Nora above all. When Dick Grayson asks you out, but it's to a jazz festival. Did I watch a crummy Laserdisc rip because I was too lazy to dig out the Blu-ray? I might have. Hey, jazz festival, good, man. All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when Dick asks you out and it's to a jazz festival.
Here's a voice message.
Journey back to a land filled with mystery and magic, a time of bravery and adventure.
Oh no, Quest for Camelot got blowed up from mysterious I dropped a bomb on it related pre-existing conditions. When I was but a wee lad, there were 3 Batman movies. Batman: the movie, Batman and Robin (parentheses 1997 close parentheses), and this, everybody's favorite, Batman and Robin (parentheses 1998 close parentheses). It's funny, we never actually owned this on tape. We always had to rent it or borrow it from a family member. I actually didn't own any of 90s Batman on tape, which, like, we owned a shit ton of tapes. Like, what the fuck? This is still one that I love very much. Mike McQuestion's new Batman theme is great. Of course, it would take until after the show ended, but they finally got College Dick right. He's a true and proper badass in and out of costume, and I think this is Lauren Lester's best Robin performance. The big finale on the oil rig is just awesome. Mr. Freeze having pet polar bears is totally radical, bruh! And you know, it doesn't matter how many times I watch this, that ending always gets to me. It just, wait, do you hear something?
Camelot. Quest for Camelot.
It's a heartwarming love story.
Oh, shut the fuck up, you twerp!
I wish Joe was here to hear that. He hates Quest for Camelot. I'm sure I've told you about that. I don't remember if I said it on the podcast, but we went to my 7th birthday party. We saw Quest for Camelot in theaters.
Yeah.
Joe absolutely hated it, and he just reminds me of that all the time ever since.
My guy. I love a man who can hate something forever.
I think Ryan had a good point about Robin that this is probably the best, because we were just talking in Growing Pains about like, oh, Robin's Reckoning, and then any other thing Robin's ever done is like, all right. But then the movie, he's like, motorcycle chase. Oh, I'm basically the main like hero besides Batgirl and all this.
That is a really
stuff.
good point.
So, yeah, I like him.
Also, that like VHS audio of people talking was a weird nostalgia scratch for me.
Yeah.
Like that was like really like it's compressed, but it's warm.
Yeah.
I can't quite explain it.
Yeah, it's a sound that I fail to replicate every time I'm trying to make something sound like a VHS. You have to like literally like translate it onto a tape and then re-upload that for it to actually have that sound to it. Yeah.
That's some Tom Waits level shit right there, Jamie.
Jordan Newman SubZero. Summer pretty much covered all the relevant news on screen, so I decided to do a proper musical minute. Ooh.
Oh.
You're listening to the Musical Minute with Jordan Blue Man.
Oh, whoa.
To start off, the Danny Elfman Batman theme. Of course, the main show has a Danny Elfman Batman arrangement, but it's kind of revamped. It's not quite the original. This is much closer to the actual 1989 Tim Burton Batman music. It might be the same recording. I didn't compare them back to back, though. I also really like the jazz lounge that Robin and Batgirl go to as a date. I really love jazz. I just thought that was nice.
Yeah.
My favorite musical moment in this episode was when they accidentally played the Clayface theme during one of the scenes where creepy doctor guy is going to Barbara's room to inject her with something. And James, you asked last week what the Clayface theme is. It's that ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum. And I know that's probably just a coincidence. There's only so many notes that you can play, but I think we're being given a clue. You always ask, where's Clayface? And I think that the objectively correct answer is Creepy Doctor Man. Never apologize for loving your fandom and try to stay optimistic.
They're going to say whatever's in his syringe is Clayface. He's just got him squished in there. Yeah.
It could be both. He is the syringe.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's what we said.
Damn, I really like that. Make that a canon thing.
That's Clayface is in the room at least. Yeah.
Can you prove that he's not the Doctor?
Well, it's like kind of what I think I talked about this on that Superman episode where they're fighting the Carnarite, the big worm on the Maxima planet, and I said how they reused that music like years later in a Justice League episode, and it has the Carnarite is not in that scene, but the lyrics would still be "I am the Carnarite, you must fear me," but it has nothing to do with that. So that's a very similar type of thing. You reminded me though of a couple things, Jordan. One was from Ryan's message. Actually, was the background, the buttum, that kind of like brass rhythmic thing that plays during the music a lot in this movie is, I think I mentioned when I was at your house, is in the Injustice 2 Batman like cutscenes or whatever. Whenever that happened, he's like flying in the Bat-Wing and it's going da 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 da. I'm like, oh, it's the SubZero thing. I know, I can hear it. Like, it was cool. But then also the Danny Elfman Batman theme in general being in this movie. I watched the trailer for this. I don't know most of the trailer by heart, but I really love the intro. Has it's like I think I've mentioned this to you before, but you may not. You may be too old to know this character. But
you think I'm Joe Biden or something?
Yeah, I think so. Beauty and the Beast. There's like the old like prison guy, like he runs the prison, and Gaston goes to him to help get help throwing Belle's dad in jail. And he's ooh, I love it. Like he has this like very evil thing that he does. That guy narrates the SubZero trailer. I wish I could remember his name. It starts off with, "You wanted more, and it's here. Batman and Mr. Freeze, SubZero." And then it keeps going from there. And I always, the music playing in that trailer is also like an extended like Danny Elfman Batman theme that is not on the soundtrack for this movie, and it's not part of the original Danny Elfman soundtrack either. So I would love to know who wrote that, where it is that I want it. Jordan, find it for me. Tip Tapricot, Contemplations Week 1. I'll let this slide. Tip Tapricot was trying to send something in last week and couldn't get like voice stuff to work. So this is for Growing Pains.
All right. It's time for some contemplations of the week, 2 of them. Maybe even some controversial takes. So, Growing Pains. So my thing on this episode is I don't love it. I think that the animation is great, but that without it, the episode would be seen as very mid, because I don't actually think Annie is that compelling with how the story was laid out around her and the limitations of the time and the, darkness that they could put in the episode. She feels kind of like a footnote, and like she shouldn't have the impact on Timm that she does narratively. I feel like it would have been better if she more clearly thematically paralleled the life he used to live, instead of the kind of pseudo girl meets boy romance to tragedy thing that they had, which was the reason that he kind of latched on harder. I think it just could have had a better emotional oof. I felt very passive watching it, and it's good. I just think that the concepts they were going with could have been tightened on a writing level and done better, and that it's seen as better because of how good the animation is, as opposed to how good the actual story is executed.
I love that.
I said on Discord, and now I get to say now.
Yeah, I guess I think I can agree with a little bit, at least, with the it's just Robin being a kid and having a crush on some other kid and not really being able to logically think through it. Whereas she could have had a lot more I'm also a street kid like you were, or whatever, instead of just mysterious random thing or whatever.
Yeah, the thing is that there's that one comment of oh, well, you're a street kid. That's why you care, kind of a situation. Yeah. Also, I have to agree with Tip Apricot, because otherwise, my argument against On Leather Wings goes away.
We have to agree with Tip Apricot at all times, or else they'll stop listening. There's a second one.
And now, to be hypocritical. I like Batman and Mr. Freeze SubZero in some ways more than Phantasm because of my personal experience watching the movie. Overall, it's not as good as I remember, but not bad in the ways that I'm sure some people think it is. Yes, the CGI gives it a big hit, but I think that was what they were doing at the time, and it doesn't ruin the rest of the movie for me. It has really fluid action and details and animation. I also really adore Barbara in this movie, her outfits, her stylization, the weight of her hair, and the volume of her she has as a person. Same with Dick and Bruce. I just think the BTAS style makes everyone feel very solid. I like some of the TNBA updates, but I miss the weight of BTAS. Speaking of BTAS, the movie felt like a long BTAS episode, and a good one at that. I think the pacing should have been faster, especially with the length of time the investigation to find Barbara goes on for. Yes. But I don't know, I enjoyed it. It has fun action, good music, really fun dialogue, and character dynamics that felt real and grounded. And the happy ending it has, undone with later Mr. Freeze stuff as in weird ways regardless, makes me happy. It feels like a good movie that gives a view into parts of BTAS and aspect of Barbara and Dick, especially that we didn't get to see, and I'm fond of it. And that is my cot take of the week.
Reversal. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
What I got
Keep rolling with that. I mean, you're wrong about SubZero, but it's fine.
Yeah, everyone had more weight. Do you say? Yeah, we noticed that too. They were way fatter than. No, I do like a lot of the art that's not the CG stuff. So I think that had that not been in there, we might have paid more attention to the other good art. But it was tough.
Yeah, it's so weird to find that kind of balance or lack thereof in the times where the art was to me far superior than anything I've seen. Well, maybe not. What was the other one they did?
Oh, World's Finest.
World's Finest. I kept wanting to say Phantasm. I'm like, it's not Phantasm, Bri. Yeah. Anyway, it's funny that sometimes the art is just a really important factor, or seemingly so, to each individual and their own opinion. And other times it's just completely inconsequential.
Yeah. Mega Man says the first casualty. Is it safe to say that this movie is the first casualty of watching the DCAU in Airdate order? It's so obviously out of place compared to everything else that's come out at the time.
Episode 1.
Yeah, Cat in the Claw. Pause. Let's watch 6 more episodes. Cat in the Claw Part 2. Kyle, there's audio. Here it is.
All right, Batman, Mr. Freeze SubZero. It's a weird title, but that's okay. I love this movie. It really feels like an extended version of the animated series. It is certainly weird coming out now. Brian, did you think it was kind of like shell shock seeing the animated series designs again?
It was more shell shock with the CGI.
Oh my God. No, he's found me. Oh, nice to see you're back.
In
now
stereo.
I get to finish you off properly. It's all right. Don't get up. That's right. I'm the real cow. You're the fake Highlander one. And this bit is officially over. Stay Yoppie, dudes.
Oh, thank God. No.
Kyle, don't ever change.
That was almost Ryan Hip level.
I found myself like trying to figure out what was going on to make the sound effects. That was cool.
I used to have a little handheld game, like a Simon looking game, but it was like 4 or 5 rows of buttons. And each one it was like a memory game where you'd press it once and hear the sound, and then you have to find the other version of that sound. A lot of them were just those like stock Hanna-Barbera like whoop, 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 kind of sounds and the boink and the like kind of stuff. So hearing those in there was very like, I'm back playing that game.
You're
I'm
trying
7
to
years
slam
old.
on the buttons.
I'm watching Quest for Camelot in the theater. Kyle also had a little bit of text in the email. I really enjoy this film. This must be one of the weirdest aspects of the controversial Airdate order. After watching this, I'm sure that Brian will hate going back to New Batman Adventures even more now. Glad you guys enjoyed the beanies, in quotes. As a Canadian, that even hurt me typing that. I love you guys,
Sorry,
the real
buddy.
Kyle Naranya. Thanks, Kyle.
Okay, but which one?
I don't know. I guess. We'll never know. All right, last first, we got Mark Aquino, Batman and Mr. Freeze, SubZero, or late 90s CG for the win, or Freezy Breezy Beautiful Yopper Girl. It's the return of, feel free to join in, Brian, Mr. Freeze. You said.
Oh, I thought it was going to be
we, Mr. Freeze. Sure, it's no Mask of the Phantasm, but as a simple, bulk, standard Batman story, it's pretty rock solid. Michael Ansara puts in his best performance as Mr. Freeze to date, showing more human sides to the character than he did previously. Yeah, that's true. He did usually just have like a, all of my feelings are gone kind of voice, like Brainiac-ish.
Not in the first one.
In Heart of Ice?
Heart of Ice.
I guess a little in his, when he's sitting in his cell being sad or whatever, but... while I do appreciate that they didn't completely make Barbara a damsel in distress here, I still kind of feel like she, for the lack of a better term, got nerfed. Yeah. Also, what was that back and forth with her and that Inuit boy?
You mean Kodak?
That was
Kodak digital
the camera. Yeah. Disposable camera.
Disposable camera. I'm sorry.
Yes, I did it first. The music from Michael McQuiston was really good here, but, and I'm sure Jordan will point this out, it's strange. None of Shirley Walker's themes were used. I pointed that out, but Danny Elfman's was, and only in the opening title. Animation-wise, this may be Coco Dong Yang's best work for the DCAU to date. Seriously, some great examples of color shading and shadowing here. Job well done to them. And with Mr. Freeze hobbling off into the snowy night, the original btas aesthetic finally comes to a close. At least that's what should have happened if it had been released before World's Finest as originally intended. Thanks, WB. Thanks a bunch. They deserve no Boss Biggest Bear hugs, but we all know who does Boss Biggest Bear hugs to the #1 podcast host in this here multiverse of ours, Just the Way You Are, and bitter tasting kombucha. Praise to our Lord and Savior. It's always the best part. Our Lord and Savior Dylan Pollock, keep up the great work on your own podcast. Remember to tell Gab that she rules. Likewise to all his loyal disciples, all the names, and of course all the awesome sauce listeners of this Yoppie community of ours. That was me. You're all the absolute best. Don't you ever forget that. Forgot to mention last week that I loved the new Watchtower database video on the lost episode of btas, which was covered on this very podcast. Does this mean that Brian can finally watch a Watchtower database video without being spoiled for future things? Sorta?
Mostly.
Yeah. The Brian version I exported for you. Till next week, smoke bomb that'll be blown out by a big old whoosh because I just flew away, baby.
Whoa.
That's the mail. We did it.
We
did it.
I was way out of key, so I just decided to hold it. We did it, Jamie. And your face is only peeling off mostly.
You can kind of see the peels a little bit right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to eat it like Goldmember.
Oh, God. I really respected the like James Bond rips, but by Goldmember, I feel like I was a little over it.
Yeah. Coral and I were just talking about the Austin Powers movies the other day about how apparently the second one is the worst of the three.
No.
From many people's opinions.
What?
But I haven't watched it in a long time, and I was shocked to hear that, but I'll have to go back and watch it again. So supposedly it's just the most like didn't age well with the humor of the three of them.
Oh.
There's a lot of like in poor taste comedy, but I don't know for sure because I haven't watched it in a while.
I guess
I know
we have
Austin Powers drinks poop in that movie, and that's not great. But.
We also get Will Ferrell in like brown face.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Shit.
That happens in the first one though too, doesn't it?
I don't remember. I owned the second one, like on DVD, I think.
I had both on tape for a long time.
Yeah. Nice.
Both of the Austin Powers movies, because the third one doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, back to the podcast. Whoa! And now we're back from the mail.
And they liked it how much?
You said 92% before we left. I think they liked it 71% more than you did.
Whoa. Wait, like in general or more than me? Because that would be
I thought that's 100%. What it was.
Because I'm in the 20s to 30s. Yeah. Honestly, this is like a 40s-ish percent for me, probably.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I don't love it. I won't go out of my way to watch
it again.
But I don't know. We've had worse episodes. The story was fine enough, if not a little boring.
I think watching it as a kid leaves me with more positivity about it, just because it's got some cool action Batman stuff. Versus Mask of the Phantasm, my favorite part of that as a kid was the moment where Phantasm's up on a roof and starts sprinting across rooftop. Batman flies overhead, jumps out, knocks him down. They have a 10-second fight, and the police show up to fuck up Batman, and Phantasm disappears. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, I've been waiting the whole time for this part because I'm a kid and I want to see Batman kick some ass. Like, come on. Because the whole movie, even though now I can respect it as being very fucking good with every other reason, is like, come on, do something, Batman. Fight some guys. And this movie had a lot of Batman fighting some guys. So
it did have right in the beginning.
Right in the beginning, right at the end, right in the middle.
We're gonna be watching you punks.
Yeah, specifically you. I put a tracer in your belt.
We're watching you, Jeff.
Anime guy with spiky back hair and
those guys were animated so well.
Yeah.
They had that also kind of pseudo anime
Cowboy Bebop looking characters. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe the art's not going to be bad. Joke's on me.
Oh man,
half the people are outlined pencil sketches that were half erased.
Hey man, you're right. Okay, next episode.
Yeah.
It's
a movie.
It's not, but it is a two-parter that we're gonna have to watch at the same time because they aired on the same day.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's called Little Girl Lost. Hi, this is Future James interrupting real quick. Somehow I had Little Girl Lost on my DCAU Airdate order, which you can find at bit.ly/watchdcau. Links in the show notes. In the wrong spot. Well, it actually was in the correct date, but for whatever reason, I had Mean Seasons, the TNBA episode Mean Seasons, later than it was supposed to be by a few days. All that changes is that is the episode we are actually watching next. Mean Seasons. That was the longest way I could have possibly said what I needed to say. I will play now the rest of the episode of the podcast that does not include Brian guessing what Little Girl Lost is about. I'll save that for later, okay? Does this all make sense to you, listener? It's Mean Seasons. It's not Little Girl Lost. It's Mean Seasons. Okay? Thank you. Jesus.
That if Foghorn hit the enhance button. I love that.
Oh my God.
The graphic EQ is just 100, 300, 1,000, 10,000. Yeah. This is what sound is.
Yeah, then Batman zooms and enhances the sound to hear the buoy. We were just talking about that.
We were. And Alfred said buoy more than he said boy.
He sure did. Well, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., not English. So
what?
That's all the podcasting that we're doing this weekend. Thank God.
Are you gonna be safe for your drive home? I'm very tired.
I guess so, because it's 7:00 and I got PM at the time of this recording, and I got to drive 3.5 hours home now.
Oh God!
So
get out of here. Go.
Okay. Bye, listener. I'm leaving. I'm currently leaving to go home.
James, don't forget your SD card and your card from Keen Machine. Don't forget your cards.
I have my card from Keen Machine right here.
You can leave your phone.
Let me read it in full here from the distance on the podcast. James, thank you for another year of
just give us a little bit of music.
Goodbye.
Today's top 2 stories come from Gotham City, where local newscaster Summer Gleason is standing by.
In a case that could herald a new era in cryogenic medicine, Nora Fries has been revived from her frozen state and has undergone a vital organ transplant. Nora Fries is the wife of the late Victor Fries, who was killed 2 weeks ago when an offshore drilling platform exploded and collapsed into the ocean. The transplant operation, funded by the Wayne Tech Corporation under the auspices of its CEO, Mr. Bruce Wayne, was today declared a resounding success by Dr. Lyle Johnston, chief surgeon at Gotham General Hospital. Mrs. Freeze is reported to be resting in stable condition. Ironically, the cryogenic technology invented by Nora's husband, which tragically transformed him into the criminal Mr. Freeze, was credited by Dr. Johnston as having saved her life. It's a shame Victor Freeze will never know. In other news, Gotham's mysterious defender, the Batman, was seen last night helping police apprehend the leaders of an underworld gun running operation.
Jump on the Bat-Wagon is hosted by the Watchtower database. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for DC Animated Universe videos on a regular basis. This podcast is edited and produced by yours truly, James Strecker. Musical themes by Kimmy, Cooney Phoenix, Viltsu, Eric LeBeau, Jordan Blumen, my mother, and of course, my smooth co-host, Brian, brother Broderick Meneely. To buy us a Yoppie beverage and hear your name read in a future episode, or to nab yourself a Yoppie Dude t-shirt, please visit the links in today's show notes. Thank you for supporting the show. You can hear more on today's DCAU episode by checking out our friends over on the DCAU Review and Timm Talk podcasts. Please leave us a 5-star review on your app of choice. You'll damn well hear it read on the show. If you'd like to reach out to us like the fire hand at the end of World's Finest Part 3, you can email batwagonpod@gmail.com or leave a comment on the Podtower. New episodes of Jump on the Bat-Wagon are released Fridays on all your favorite podcast feeds and watchtowerdatabase.com. And we'll see you next episode, same PP time, same poo-poo channel.